At Langiao sect, the main character Fong Lang Tiao closed his eyes and recounted, I've been in the cultivating immortals world for almost 100 years now. 60 years of enlightenment. He exhaled deeply, then opened his cunning eyes to look straight ahead. After hundreds of years of cultivation, I have achieved great ascension and become the #1 genius of the cultivating immortals world. Today, my cultivation is complete. Fong Lang Tiao clenched his fists and vanished in an instant, later reappearing in front of the cheering crowd. Disciple Langiao has come out of seclusion. Fong Lang Tiao descended majestically, exuding a powerful aura around him. And today, I will overcome the thunder tribulation and ascend to the immortal realm. The disciples and the sect excitedly said, Junior brother Lang Tiao is indeed a role model for all of us to follow. So handsome. Behind him, someone called out, Lang Tiao. Fong Lang Tiao glanced back and turned around. Master, Xian Uncle. Yi Xian Chen, Deputy Sect Master of Lang Tiao Sect, early stage of Great Ascension. Another was Fong Qing Yun, Sect Master of Lang Tiao Sect, mid-stage of Great Ascension. Fong Lang Tiao said, Didn't I say there was no need to see me off? Fong Qing Yun stepped forward to remind him, Disciple, this thunder tribulation should not be taken lightly. You must be extremely careful. He raised his finger to count. As the previous sect master said, this thunder tribulation lives up to its name, you will face 99 rounds of it before you can undergo purification. If you can't withstand it by then, Fong Lang Tiao, despite being warned, still took it lightly. He closed his eyes casually and responded, all right, master, you can rest easy. It's just 99 rounds of thunder tribulation, I won't even give it a second thought. Yi Xian Chen, seeing his attitude, grew even more worried and became stern. Kid, don't be so arrogant. You still need to be more cautious. Fong Lang Tiao replied dismissively, all right, I know. I'll fly up high now and won't talk to Sect Master or Uncle Xian anymore. You both can rest easy. Yi Xian Chen pointed and shouted loudly, you little brat. Fong Lang Tiao smirked confidently, within 3 years, I will definitely break into the immortal realm. 100,000 years later, another thunder tribulation struck the earth, causing those below to explode with its might. Fong Lang Tiao angrily pointed at the sky, cursing, damn it, I curse your heavenly thunder, it's not like others. 99 thunder tribulations usually only last for 3 years, yet your damn family has been tormenting me for 100,000 years straight. As soon as he finished speaking, a violent heavenly thunder struck him directly, causing the ground to crack and smoke and flames to rise chaotically. Fong Lang Tiao's people were also burned and smoking, and he paused to sigh a little. Although it is said that the stronger the thunder tribulation, the higher the cultivation after one ascends, this damn thunder tribulation has been slashing at me for 100,000 years, truly extraordinary. He clenched his fists in anger, this heavenly thunder can even destroy my cultivation. Right now, my cultivation has nearly regressed to the level of a mortal, but my body has already been tempered, becoming much stronger, like. He opened his eyes wide and said, to prepare the vessel for someone. He lowered his head and pondered, it seems someone is targeting me, even wanting to take over my body. He frowned and looked up, making a decisive statement, if that's the case, then I will ruin your plan. He sat down on the ground leisurely and said, with my temperament, I'm afraid you've picked the wrong person. He clenched his teeth and shouted, come here. Heavenly thunder struck down again, hitting Fong Lang Tiao directly. He endured it to the point of spitting blood, and as he concentrated the strength of heavenly thunder, he inadvertently discovered, absorbing heavenly thunder, yet not dying from a violent body explosion. He continued to refine the heavenly thunder to absorb it. Thank you, heavenly thunder, for tempering this body for 100,000 years, the thunder tribulation can actually be refined by me. In just a moment, the heavenly thunder that had struck for 100,000 years suddenly ceased, and the dark clouds dispersed, restoring the long-lost light. Fong Lang Tiao's expression turned serious as he realized he had guessed correctly, indeed, it's just as I thought. He discovered that he could refine the thunder tribulation, yet it directly stopped the thunder tribulation. This person's methods are not simple at all. His eyes radiated spiritual energy, and he couldn't help but think, if I don't eliminate you soon, then my Tao heart will be unsettled in the future. He hurriedly gathered his strength, wanting to fly up. First, I need to return to the sect to let them know I'm still alive. He hesitated and then crashed face first into the ground. He sat up, gagging a few times. Fong Lang Tiao touched his head, suddenly recalling and cursing, "Damn it, this entire area is filled with thunder tribulation, and now I can't use even a bit of my cultivation." He sat down to regulate his breathing. Well, it seems this is the only way. After a while, he opened his eyes, joyfully thinking, I did it. I really can harness the power of heavenly thunder for foundation establishment. He looked at the heavenly thunder in his hands and calculated, however, this domineering heavenly thunder still needs to be refined gradually, otherwise, if the heavenly thunder swallows me, I could die from a violent backlash, which would bring more harm than good. He raised his hand to his forehead, gazing into the distance, continuing, it's better to use the cultivation that has been refined more carefully. He frowned, there's no other way, I'll walk back then. A month later, in Chengling City, several sword chis were flashing back and forth in the sky. A girl dressed like a general was continuously launching lethal blows at the opponent. Below, Fong Lang Tiao was eating pastries while watching the match. After observing for a while, he sighed, the world isn't quite peaceful now, is it? He looked down and smiled brightly at the person across from him, expressing gratitude, but I still have to thank you for inviting me to eat. I haven't talked to anyone in a long time. The girl with green hair smiled gently and replied, no need to be polite. Even though I'm this grown up, it's still the first time I've met someone from outside. Fong Lang Tiao tossed her a jade pendant, cheerfully considering it an exchange. Hey girl, I think we have a good connection. I can agree to help you with one thing as a way to repay you for inviting me to eat. The girl looked at the pendant and asked, what is this? Fong Lang Tiao pointed at her and explained how to use it, if there's anything, just break it, and I'll definitely come to help you. The girl giggled a few times, then took the pendant, I don't need you to help, but your pendant is beautiful, so I'll keep it. Fong Lang Tiao tilted his head slightly, doubtful, this girl doesn't seem to trust me. Well, it's better to have one less issue than to add another. The girl with green hair looked up and reminded him, all right, you should run quickly. That person in the sky is very powerful, today Chengling City might be destroyed. Fong Lang Tiao raised an eyebrow in disbelief and asked, him? Is he really considered very strong? The girl smiled and pointed out, people like you are indeed very interesting. Although you seem a bit unusual, you are still just a mortal, so don't be too arrogant. Fong Lang Tiao replied casually, if City Lord Yunhi of Chengling City intervenes, it will be a trivial matter. You can rest assured. He thought to himself, so this girl thinks she is immortal. It seems she hasn't mastered the heavenly spirit flower field yet. The girl lowered her head and said, he transformed over 30 years ago. Fong Lang Tiao was so shocked he dropped the pastry, asking, what? The girl suddenly gathered her strength and flew away, shouting, you should really leave quickly, the city lord now is not even a tenth of Yunhi's power. Fong Lang Tiao stared at her, motionless, still unable to believe it. Even someone like Yunhi has already transformed at that realm. He bowed his head, feeling saddened, it's been 10 years, and both people and things have truly changed. At this moment, one of the two combatants had been knocked to the ground. The soldier girl lay on the ground, coughing a few times. The red-haired man descended and ordered, bring out the inner den of your previous city lord, Yunhi, and I will consider sparing Chengling City. The soldier girl firmly replied, don't even dream about it. The red-haired man praised her resilience as he controlled the firepower, saying, you're quite tough. The girl struggled to stand up and wanted to make some noise, but the blue-haired girl from earlier flew down and called out, Aling, let me take your place. Aling looked at her and said, City Lord, I'm a bit worried. But your body. The city lord sternly replied, this is an order, you must evacuate the people in the city. Left with no choice but to obey the command, Aling responded, understood. The red-haired man was quite surprised to learn she was the city lord, and he disdainfully remarked, so you are the city lord of Chengling City now? You're still much weaker compared to Yunhi, looking really frail and pitiful. Aling gathered her energy and flew away. The city lord raised his chin and coldly looked at him, saying, it's useless to talk much. She raised her hand to channel spiritual energy and said, "Because this is my mission." She condensed her power and then charged forward, launching a powerful strike. The red-haired man also exerted his strength, laughing joyfully, "This is more like it." Taking advantage of his distraction from one move, the city lord maneuvered to the side and circled behind him, using all her strength to unleash a fierce attack like sharp thorns emerging from the ground. She landed, causing the ground to shatter instantly. In her hand was the forming power of sword chi with immense strength. The red-haired man, who had just deflected the previous strike, suddenly stopped. Seeing the imposing sword aura descending with great force, he raised his hand, excitedly asking, "Is this the heavenly spirit flower field? Truly interesting." He said this and then launched a strike even more terrifying, shattering the heavenly spirit flower field. The city lord, engulfed, also spat out blood and fell backward. The red-haired man scoffed disdainfully, "A legendary sword of the heavenly spirit flower field that drains life, is this all it's got?" A Ling urgently called out to Fong Lang Tiao, who looked confused, "This place is very dangerous, you should run away with me now." Fong Lang Tiao raised his hand and looked up, exclaiming, "Wow, this skill is quite impressive." A Ling looked up at him in confusion, seeing the power swirling like a vortex and doubting, could it be the city lord? Fong Lang Tiao pointed and asked her, "Who is the man you are in conflict with?" A Ling was surprised and asked, "You don't know who he is?" She explained, "He is Fong Lang Tiao of the Langiao Sect, a notorious figure known for collecting the inner dan of strong beings that have transformed, possessing immensely powerful abilities. Many sects have been defeated by him. He has brought numerous disasters to the Langiao sect but only knows himself. Truly a heartless person." Fong Lang Tiao was bewildered. A Ling gently closed her eyes and urged him, "You should leave Qingling City quickly, it is no longer safe here." Fong Lang Tiao swiftly flew ahead. When she opened her eyes, she looked around in confusion and asked, Where did he go?" On this side, Lang Tiao was still forcing the city lord to hand over the inner dan. "Quickly hand over the inner dan of Lan Yunao, and I might spare your life." The city lord bowed his head for a moment, then looked up resolutely and said, "Wishful thinking." Lang Tiao unleashed a cold sword aura in intimidation, "Don't be so quick to reply. This short sword in my hand, once it pierces your body, will shatter into countless shards of sword light, then explode inside you. At that moment, you will be worse than dead." The city lord clenched her teeth, bowed her head and thought, "Am I really going to end here?" She suddenly remembered Fong Lang Tiao's words, "If anything happens, just crush it, I will definitely come to help." She looked at the jade in her hand with a sad expression, "Why am I thinking about him? He is just a mortal." Lang Tiao narrowed his eyes in perception, "Why does this woman have such strange spiritual energy?" He raised a finger to control the sword and said, "Forget it, I'll find my way into the city after I kill her." As soon as he finished speaking, he was struck in the face by a mighty blow that made him spit blood and fly back, followed by an explosion. The city lord knelt on the ground, gazing at him in confusion. Behind, Fong Lang Tiao sighed and asked, "Why does Lan Yunao's veins have to suffer such injustice?" The city lord was startled and turned to look behind. Fong Lang Tiao also looked at her and said, "I originally thought you would crush the jade pendant, and then I would save your life. It would also repay the kindness of Lan Yunao from years ago." He smiled and said, "Then I could conveniently repay you for inviting me to eat." He stepped forward, his gaze fixed sharply on Lang Tiao as he said in a deep voice, "But right now, I have a personal grudge with a guy who claims to be Fong Lang Tiao here." Lang Tiao wiped the blood from his face, and bluntly looked at him, "Another person here seeking death. You humans truly have a death wish." The city lord exclaimed in astonishment, "What ears? You are from the demon clan. Didn't the demon clan disappear tens of thousands of years ago?" Fong Lang Tiao coldly questioned him, "As a member of the demon clan, why do you dare to impersonate Lang Tiao and steal the inner dan from others?" The man lowered his head and chuckled softly, "No longer hiding, since I have been discovered, then I won't hide anymore." He raised his face, unleashing demonic power, and continued, "I will use my true ability to play with you. He is Lang Tian, the heavenly fire demon wolf, in the spirit king realm." The city lord was restrained by a heavy pressure and could not move, realizing, what a strong pressure. It turns out he was hiding his cultivation before. Fong Lang Tiao began to grow angry and shouted, I don't care what you are, I ask you why you are impersonating Fong Lang Tiao. Lang Tian smirked indifferently, you're quite boastful, huh? But from you, I don't sense any fluctuations of spiritual energy at all. You must be a physique cultivator with a relatively high realm, right? But even a physique cultivator at the highest level can only reach the spirit infant realm. He said this and suddenly disappeared before Fong Lang Tiao's eyes. The city lord looked around in confusion and said, he vanished. Unexpectedly, Lang Tian appeared right in front of him, boasting, now I have reached the spirit king realm, the distance between us is as far as the stars in the sky. Fong Lang Tiao asked emotionlessly, so what? Lang Tian leaned his face closer, his hand conjuring the demon flame and commanding, the way a human like you talks really makes me furious. We will now give you a chance. Kneel down and bow your head quickly. If I am pleased, I will tell you. He arrogantly added another condition, or if you defeat me, then I will tell you. Of course, this possibility will be. Before he could finish the word no, Fong Lang Tiao unleashed an ultimate killing move, sending him crashing into a rock far behind. Even the city lord was horrified and serious. Lang Tian lay motionless. Fong Lang Tiao picked at his ear, and with the other hand pointed out, if you had said earlier that after defeating you, you would talk, wouldn't that be better? After a while with no response, the city lord still feared for Fong Lang Tiao and urged him to run. Senior, you should hurry and run. The demon clan is not something we humans can resist, he is definitely still hiding his strength. Fong Lang Tiao calmly replied, don't worry, I still have strength left after defeating him. Lang Tian, exuding power, spoke, congratulations, you have successfully angered me. He flew towards Fong Lang Tiao, striking down with fierce force. The city lord exclaimed in shock, Senior, be careful. But that blow struck down with terrifying power, piercing through the ground and blowing her away. Lang Tian's eyes emitted demon flames as he said, it's still not over. He then unleashed a powerful, unimaginable fire attack. The city lord shielded herself with her hands and said, the flame is indeed powerful, not even the aftershock can. She helplessly began to cry, saying, Father, I'm sorry, I can't fulfill your last wishes anymore. Before her, a figure appeared, reaching out. In her daze, she also reached out in response, could it be that I have died? Is it my father come to take me? She grasped that hand and called out, Father, I miss you. She closed her eyes, regardless of how events had unfolded, continuously calling, Father. Fong Lang Tiao, having burned his shirt, exclaimed, Girl, I underestimated you, didn't I? Your abilities are no less than your father, Langiao. Truly, the student surpasses the teacher. The city lord suddenly asked, Senior, why is it you? How come you're fine? Fong Lang Tiao pulled her up to fly together, saying that the matter of your father could wait until later. Just when the foolish dog was being arrogant, it conveniently granted you a magical power. He forcefully threw her forward with the city lord missile technique. The city lord cried without tears, asking why it had come to this. Lang Tian paused, stopped his move, and wondered if he had disappeared or was turned to ash. What sound was that? The city lord dashed forward, constantly shouting. He stared blankly and said, Are you trying to make me laugh with this attack? It can't even break my protective barrier. No sooner had he finished speaking than the city lord hit him on the head with a bang. Blood gushed from his nose, and he fell backward onto the ground. He blinked as if just waking up and asked, Am I injured? Why is this happening? Where is my protective spiritual energy? He squinted down, unable to believe it. Was he really relying on this woman alone? The city lord, sitting on the ground, cried out that he had a terrible headache. Fong Lang Tiao explained to him that the celestial qi of the heavenly spirit flower field could not absorb spiritual energy, so the more one forced cultivation, the weaker the body would become. But once the spiritual energy is depleted, it will absorb the primordial spiritual energy of others for its own use at an astonishing speed, especially from the purest weapons of ancient demon beasts like you. Heavenly Fire Demon Wolf, huh? Lang Tian turned his head seriously, how do you know? Fong Lang Tiao stood there naked, hands on his hips, looking down at him. The city lord blushed and pointed, your pants, that pair of pants. Fong Lang Tiao raised his hand in response, cultivators do not fuss over trivialities. He crossed his arms and got to the main point, alright, now tell me why you want to impersonate Fong Lang Tiao. If you answer truthfully, I will spare your life. If you continue like this, your essence will be completely drained. Lang Tian lowered his head, so it was you, I underestimated you, but don't underestimate me either. He unleashed, heavenly fire descends, my true form. His body blazed with an intimidating fire. Fong Lang Tiao, standing closest, remained expressionless as he felt no heat. The city lord, however, had to shield his hands, unable to withstand the pressure he emitted. At the city gate, a Ling was hastily evacuating the people. Don't dawdle, hurry and escape, she shouted. She turned to ask, what is that? A second later, her face darkened as she saw the flames in the city consuming everything. Lang Tian transformed into a demon wolf, howling several times. But compared to the panic of the city lord, Fong Lang Tiao merely viewed it as a joke. Lang Tian angrily released demon flames, saying, you pests, let me relish the sight of your despair. In front of the city gate, the citizens all knelt down pleading, Wolf God Lord, please spare our lives, we beg you, Wolf God Lord, spare us. A Ling stood frozen in shock, you all. She asked furiously, you lot. Lang Tian carelessly looked down at Fong Lang Tiao and asked, so, how is it? You ants, this is my true form, do you feel despair yet? The city lord was sweating profusely, standing like a statue staring at him, so this is the level of demon beasts. Fong Lang Tiao angrily looked at him and retorted, your appearance is just a bit bigger. What are you pretending to be? He pointed at the city lord, sternly admonishing, and you too, stop being so amazed by everything. Being like this will only make it even more boastful. The city lord paused, replied hesitantly, oh yes, yes sir. Lang Tian felt an overwhelming frustration as he heard him speak. At this point, you still don't regard me as anything. It seems you truly don't know what it means to have humility. Fong Lang Tiao glanced at him. Lang Tian unleashed a demon flame, yelling, die. It growled, turn to ashes for me. Its voice faltered, you damned ants. The demon flame in his mouth weakened more and more. He looked ahead, crying when he saw Fong Lang Tiao standing before him, conjuring an incredibly large illusion of nature. The city lord was shocked, stammering, this is. The girl blushed, asking, what is this? The people all widened their eyes, asking, is this a butt? How can there be a butt like this? That is a naked man. A Ling froze, her face turning entirely red. Fong Lang Tiao raised his fist. Lang Tian was pinned to the ground by the pressure, unable to struggle, the pressure is really strong. A prince of heaven approached, causing him to scream in terror, quickly begging, Supreme Immortal, spare my life, I will tell everything. Fong Lang Tiao coughed up blood, his body also began to shrink, emitting heavenly thunder. He landed on the ground, regulating his breathing, unable to help but think, this little spiritual energy is basically not enough, the heavenly thunder in my body is starting to go wild again. He looked at the heavenly thunder in his hand and sighed, it seems that this heavenly thunder cannot be used at all until I refine it into cultivation. The city lord rushed over, anxiously asking him, Senior, are you alright? Where is that demon beast? Fong Lang Tiao lowered his head and murmured, will I only be able to use soul power in the future? He turned to reply to her, I am fine. It is right there. The city lord looked at Lang Tian lying on the ground, still incessantly begging the Supreme Immortal for mercy. She asked in surprise, why has it become so small? Fong Lang Tiao replied, this is his true form, just a young heavenly fire demon wolf. He grabbed it, assessing the situation, it's unconscious, we should take it back for treatment. The city lord blushed and stared at him, proposing, then, Senior, why don't we go to the city lord mansion and question it? It just so happens that I need to prepare another set of clothing for you. Fong Lang Tiao walked slowly and replied, no need to trouble yourself like that. Just give me some spirit stones first, and I can directly refine them into clothing. Hearing this, the city lord searched his waist, asking, "Spirit stones? Wait a moment, I will go find some." Fong Lang Tiao took the spirit stones she handed him, feeling rather helpless. The spiritual energy was weak, and they were so small. Moreover, you say one stone is one stone, but you are the city lord after all. The city lord looked at him in confusion and explained, "Senior, this medium-grade spirit stone is enough to buy an entire city. 100,000 years ago, the continuation of the heaven and earth divine bridge was severed, which caused this mainland to deplete its spiritual energy, preventing people from ascending." Fong Lang Tiao pondered in silence, wondering, 100,000 years ago? Could it be because of me? The city lord lowered his head and continued, "The deposits of spirit stones have been occupied by the three sect alliance. As the city lord, I can only obtain this one medium-grade spirit stone every 3 years. Spirit stones are an incredibly rare resource. The path to immortality is solely for the sake of eternal life, while the divine bridge has collapsed." Fong Lang Tiao crushed spirit stones to turn them into clothing, saying, "All right, just like my master, it's just a spirit stone." He glanced over and grabbed Lang Tian, lifting him up, and whispered in his ear, "I've heard that the heavenly fire demon wolf roams the human world amassing wealth everywhere. This little brat must have a lot of spirit stones." Lang Tian was sweating profusely, silently thinking to himself, "If I don't hear it, it means I didn't hear it, I'll just pretend to faint." Seeing him not respond, Fong Lang Tiao squeezed his head tightly, causing Lang Tian to suddenly open his eyes in a panic. "Supreme Immortal, spare me, I do have spirit stones." The ring he wore glowed, and then a pile of spirit stones appeared, offered to Fong Lang Tiao. "This is all my wealth, please accept it, Supreme Immortal." The city lord's eyes widened in surprise, so many spirit stones exist. Lang Tian squinted his eyes, thinking, a great opportunity. He threw the spirit stones back and fled quickly. "This time I admit defeat, these spirit stones are an apology, I shall take my leave." He thought to himself, "I must run away quickly, or else." Fong Lang Tiao appeared in front of him with one hand raised, saying, "Want to run?" "Hello, puppy." Lang Tian jumped and asked, "What?" A punch came down hard on his head, causing him to drop and sink into the ground. Fong Lang Tiao casually looked at his own hand and said, "Why the rush? You really make me more curious." Back at the city lord mansion, Fong Lang Tiao leaned back in his chair and asked Lang Tian, "Who instructed your family to collect the inner Dan of the strong after they transform? Why pretend to be Fong Lang Tiao?" Lang Tian grimaced and introduced himself, "I am Lang Tian, I left my clan to train on my own a year ago, and then I was hunted by a woman." Rewind to a year ago, Lang Tian ran desperately through the forest, occasionally glancing back and cursing, "Damn. If I had known, I wouldn't have messed with this woman." From the dark sky, a talisman appeared, channeling power down to catch Lang Tian. He roared in anger, unleashing his demonic power, "Do you really have to force me like this? Do you really think I'm made of clay?" Heavenly fire strikes down. After a while, still no movement occurred, causing him to sweat profusely, wondering, why is there no effect like this? A girl in a black dress with purple hair descended, looking at him with a cold expression. "Little dog, you really know how to run, can't you sincerely help me with one task?" Lang Tian looked up at her and asked, "I was just teasing you a little. Why does it have to be like this?" The girl sighed in annoyance. "Men are truly unpredictable. The sweet words you just said, were you just lying to me?" She waved her hand, creating space to command, "From now on, you will be called Fong Lang Tiao and help me collect 10 inner Dan Spirit Saint Realm. I'll come to collect them in 5 years. Lang Tian, still bound, loudly refused. "Don't casually order me around, I don't agree to that." The girl glanced at him with a strange smile and said, "I forgot to tell you. I have placed a charm in your body, if you don't obey, you will definitely die." Returning to the present, Lang Tian lowered his head sadly and said, "That's how it is." The city lord asked in surprise, "Tearing apart the void, how can that be possible? Even the legendary spirit lord couldn't do that." As soon as Fong Lang Tiao heard this, he knew it was someone from the upper world. Lang Tian eagerly replied, "That's right, it must be someone from the upper world. I'm at my wit's end. A righteous person like Senior who values chivalry will surely understand this, right? Fong Lang Tiao lowered his eyes and asked him, a righteous person values chivalry, huh? Do you know who I am? Lang Tian said seriously, I do not know the esteemed name and noble character of Senior. He pointed to himself and began to introduce. Lang Tiao Sect, Fong Lang Tiao. The city lord was taken aback, while Lang Tian was terrified. He banged his head on the ground to apologize. Senior, I was wrong. I am willing to serve you like a beast, please spare me. He gritted his teeth and finally thought of it. I said, why should I pretend to be Fong Lang Tiao? That damned woman is actually waiting for me here, so that Fong Lang Tiao can directly kill me. In the end, even the real Fong Lang Tiao cannot escape punishment, and I will perish without leaving a trace. Fong Lang Tiao stepped in front of him. Your luck is quite good. He glanced sideways at him and laid out the conditions. From now on, acknowledge me as your master and compensate for the losses you caused me. Lang Tian was taken aback, calculating. Acknowledging him as my master is also a way out, it's better than working under that crazy woman. It's just that I won't have freedom anymore. Fong Lang Tiao exuded an imposing aura and coldly stated, you only have two choices now, acknowledge me as your master or die. Lang Tian was startled and hurriedly replied, Lang Tian, swear on the Tao heart to acknowledge Fong Lang Tiao as my master, and I'll follow orders without question. Fong Lang Tiao resolved the matter and didn't linger. That's more like it. Lan Go, help me activate the teleportation array, I want to return to the Langiao sect. Lan Go hesitated and replied, Senior, due to the depletion of spiritual energy, spirit stones are extremely precious, and the teleportation array cannot be utilized at all. Even with Lang Tian's contribution, it wouldn't be enough. Fong Lang Tiao stopped and asked her, so the exact direction can be found, right? Lan Go replied, that can be done. Fong Lang Tiao said, then just tell me the location. He suddenly froze, his expression changing in an instant. He took a step forward and instructed, I will go out for a while. Lang Tian, you stay here obediently. Lang Tian looked at him leave, confused, why are you suddenly going out? He was suddenly weighed down by an oppressive aura and realized, wait, this aura, it's from that woman. Fong Lang Tiao landed on the roof, facing the girl with purple hair who was stroking her chin. Oh, you are Fong Lang Tiao, why won't you just die obediently under that thunder tribulation? Now that your cultivation has dropped to the level of a waste, isn't that the same as being dead? Do you really want to return to the Langiao sect? It's pointless. Fong Lang Tiao asked in bewilderment, pointless? Hey, woman, what do you mean by that? She raised her finger, swirling spiritual energy to gradually form around inner Dan, explaining to him, aren't you looking for your master? Look, this is your master's inner Dan. Hurry up and obediently die in my hands. Only then can you reunite with your master, right? That old man even laughed before he died, constantly murmuring about Lang Tiao or something like that. Fong Lang Tiao widened her eyes, suddenly retreating to take the inner Dan. She froze, looking at the severed hand. Fong Lang Tiao landed on the ground. She turned her head in shock and said, so fast, how could this happen? Didn't his dantian get shattered by heavenly thunder? She restored her own arm. Fong Lang Tiao lowered her face, coldly saying, the recovery ability combined with a knack for using talismans. I know who you are now. To ascend to the upper world, you don't hesitate to exploit forbidden talismans, refining your entire sect, the immortal heavenly lord, Su Ling Long. His eyes emitted spiritual energy filled with resentment as he said, you have killed over 10,000 people in the sect, which means I will have to kill you 10,000 times. Today, I will show you what it means to be torn apart 1,000 times. The girl with purple hair angrily replied, it's just luck. You have quite the audacity, don't you? Fong Lang Tiao took off his outer clothing and said, but I can't tear my clothes again. He threw the clothes to the ground, waving his hand and calling, come here. Let me know how powerful the people from the upper world really are. As he finished speaking, his hands were suddenly restrained by several strands of energy. She appeared behind him unexpectedly, as if she had come from nowhere. My spell is the energy of law, and now you completely cannot move. I want to ask you some questions, and you better answer honestly, or you will die a violent death." Fong Lang Tiao, furious, turned around and exclaimed, "You actually dared to come down here?" Hearing this, she abruptly froze. Fong Lang Tiao stomped the ground and turned to kick her spell with great force. The purple-haired girl was dumbfounded as she saw her spell being ripped apart. "My spell is the power of law, how can it not work on him?" She quickly flew up high to maintain distance from Fong Lang Tiao. "He doesn't have spiritual energy, so he can't fly, I must keep my distance." Fong Lang Tiao unleashed a powerful kick and declared, "Want to run? Look at my earth wall technique." She sweated while looking back and thought, indeed, he is a foolish man. Not even a bit of actual combat experience, and he thinks he can use magic to catch me. Fong Lang Tiao stomped the ground and created a powerful earth wall technique. She asked with a heavy heart, "Is this the earth wall technique?" Suddenly, Fong Lang Tiao appeared behind her. "What are you staring at?" He tightened his fist, gathering energy, and said, "Don't even think about escaping." She was startled, quickly forming a hand seal, fearfully turning around. He's really a difficult man to deal with. She continued to use spells, exchanging blows with Fong Lang Tiao with no clear winner. However, her earth wall technique was shattered by a single blow from him. The impact echoed all the way to Langiao's residence. She stood on the altar and said, "That's quite a shock. What's going on?" Lang Tian flew up and responded, "It must be a fight outside. I'll go take a look." "You keep going." He furrowed his brow, planning, while those two are fighting, should find an opportunity to escape. "Although I have accepted him as my master, I never said I would follow him." He looked in one direction. Seeing the huge earth technique above, she was taken aback. Thinking back, she told herself, maybe I shouldn't run after all. On this side, Fong Lang Tiao had smashed her earth wall technique, causing several talismans to fall continuously. He did not stop but continued to break through, only pausing when the talismans above gathered and no more earth walls appeared. She felt somewhat terrified and thought, the speed is really fast, every time I release the talisman, it gets shattered. She looked down at Fong Lang Tiao and said, although lacking spiritual energy, the sheer power of that body is strong enough to directly crush my talisman with physical strength. Fong Lang Tiao, with a serious expression, assessed, not using magical talent. "It seems this is just your external incarnation, isn't it?" She did not respond, but was lost in thought. Can this body ignore law talismans? No wonder it was targeted by that person. Other than ignoring the law, there seems to be no other useful information. Fong Lang Tiao unleashed heavenly thunder, looked at her, and said, "If it's just a clone, then there's no need to torment any longer." He unleashed his power, hand forming a seal, continuing, "To deal with this, even if it's just a clone of someone from the upper world, I still have to show a bit of skill, right? People from the upper world are just like this anyway." She stared wide-eyed in shock. "Why is there a fly sword?" She shouted angrily, "You useless person dare to look down on me. Today I will show you." As soon as she finished speaking, she was split in half by Fong Lang Tiao's sword intent. Her body shone unexpectedly. Is this sword chi combined with law? My clone was instantly killed. She let out a strange laugh, realizing, so that's how it is, so that's it. You truly deserve to be her person. Her transformation dissipated while still laughing maniacally. Fong Lang Tiao, I'll wait for you in the upper world. Fong Lang Tiao coldly replied, no need for you to say it, I will look for you all anyway. He raised the inner Dan, which had vanished with her. The inner Dan is indeed fake, so you wanted to test my strength and deliberately provoked me? Once he returned to the manor, he asked, how is it? Have you found the coordinates? Langiao looked over and replied, ah, senior, you're back. I just found these coordinates. Fong Lang Tiao looked at Lang Tian in surprise, aren't you going to run away, puppy? Lang Tian tilted his head and replied, why should I run? The heavenly fire demon wolf clan is the most loyal, after all. He thought to himself, I wouldn't dare to be disloyal. Langiao handed him a piece of paper with the coordinates written on it, saying, senior, it's quite a distance. How do you plan to get there? Fong Lang Tiao said, I will find a way myself. Langiao gave him the paper, stating, these are the coordinates. Fong Lang Tiao took the paper and glanced at it. It is quite far, huh? But at least I know the location now. Puppy, follow me. Lang Tian coughed lightly, coming right away. Langiao saw both of them out and asked Fong Lang Tiao one more time, Senior, do you really not need my help to find a spirit beast vehicle? Fong Lang Tiao replied, no need, I have my own methods. He turned to her, instructing, I'm leaving now, you should work hard in your cultivation too. Do not be lazy. Langiao exclaimed in surprise before replying, oh yes, Senior. Fong Lang Tiao grabbed Lang Tian and threw him high up, shouting, let's go. He was thrown into a panic, screaming incessantly. Fong Lang Tiao stomped his foot and took off into the air, landing on Lang Tian's head. I've always wanted to try this. He passionately thought, Lang Tiao Sect, I'm back. After a while, they arrived at Lang Tiao Sect. Fong Lang Tiao instructed Lang Tian, when we return to the sect, do not reveal our identities. You just need to keep quiet. Lang Tian replied dejectedly, as you command, my master. He glanced at the stone tablet inscribed with the words Lang Tiao Sect that had toppled over and thought, I fear that Lang Tiao Sect is only in name now, I hope they won't vent their anger on me. Fong Lang Tiao, understanding the situation, spoke up first, you don't need to be afraid, this is not your fault. Lang Tian sighed in relief, thank you for your magnanimity, Senior Lord. Suddenly, a voice from the sky shouted, stop. Fong Lang Tiao paused and looked up at the girl riding the sword, saying, you brought spirit beasts with you. You must be a member of the spirit beast sect this year. She put her hands on her hips and introduced herself, I am Yiqing Jiao, the acting sect master of the Langiao sect. You have gone too far in bullying people, today, the Langiao sect will absolutely not compromise. Fong Lang Tiao clasped his hands together and explained, Miss, you misunderstand. I, Fong Lang, am just a casual cultivator. I have heard that the Langiao sect is a renowned sect, so I specially came to pay my respects at the mountain gate, seeking to join. Yiqing Jiao asked in surprise, you want to join the Langiao sect? Her sword suddenly shook violently, causing her to stagger, and she said, watch your step, before we negotiate, what do you want to do right now? The sword suddenly flew towards Fong Lang Tiao, causing Yiqing Jiao to fall freely. Fong Lang Tiao jumped up, caught the sword, and flew to catch Yiqing Jiao, gently landing. Yiqing Jiao blushed and looked up at him. Fong Lang Tiao gently asked her, are you okay? Yiqing Jiao jumped far away from him and awkwardly cleared her throat to explain, of course, I'm fine. This is a test for you. She crossed her arms and assessed, your talent isn't bad. You are only at the spirit essence realm, yet you already have such body movement. Since this is a time when we need people, I welcome you to join the Langiao sect. Fong Lang Tiao asked her confusedly, aren't I at the foundation establishment stage? What kind of realm is the spirit essence realm you just mentioned? Yiqing Jiao turned around, unable to hide her surprise, you don't even know what the spirit essence realm is? Then how did you cultivate? Fong Lang Tiao lightly closed his eyes and replied, there is a bit of inheritance in my family, so I managed to cultivate up to this level. Yiqing Jiao touched her chin, recalling, foundation establishment, in the skill instruction books of the sect I've read, it seems to be a type of cultivation realm from ancient times. I've heard that 100,000 years ago, because of a thunder tribulation, the divine bridge broke, causing the concentration of spiritual energy to no longer be as great as before, which led to the replacement of many divine sections. Wait, are you saying you used ancient cultivation methods to reach the spirit essence realm? Fong Lang Tiao laughed and responded, just a bit of luck, I don't know how today's realms are classified. Yiqing Jiao raised a finger and said, when a beginner starts cultivating, they condense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, transforming it into their own spirit essence, the spirit essence realm. When the spirit essence stabilizes, they officially become a cultivator, and the physical body of the practitioner will greatly enhance, entering the spirit foundation realm. When the spirit essence condenses into a pill, the strength of the practitioner significantly increases, and their lifespan extends, reaching the pill's realm. When pills break apart and transform, the divine consciousness of the cultivator begins to awaken, allowing them to fly, entering the spirit infant realm. When the spirit infant matures, the practitioner's strength reaches its peak, enabling them to establish a sect and dominate a region. Only a few individuals reach the spirit king level, and I do not know about the spirit saint realm and beyond. It is said that lifespan can be nearly infinite, and with just a wave of their hand, they can destroy heaven and earth. Fong Lang Tiao sweated in thought. Does it really need to be that exaggerated? He lowered his eyes and pondered. So the world of cultivating immortals has now entered a period of decline, huh? Yi Qing Jiao poked him gently and asked with concern. Before I take you up the mountain, can you return the magic weapon to me? Fong Lang Tiao replied, sure. Before handing back the sword, he took a look at it and thought in surprise, this magic weapon is not bad. He noticed that there was a quite strong soul power within this sword. Yi Qing Jiao took the sword back and strapped it to her back, saying, that's only natural. This is a lucky find I picked up. Now I'll take you up the mountain. Lang Tian flew up and asked him quietly, do you need me to take care of that swordsman? Fong Lang Tiao replied, not for now. Let's observe for a while longer before we decide. He looked back at a person who was riding a flying beast approaching and called out, Miss Yi, what a coincidence, are you out for a stroll? Yi Qing Jiao turned around and called, Li Feng. He is the third young master of the spirit beast sect, Li Feng. He crossed his arms arrogantly and asked her, are you representing Grand Senior Brother Li Hao Tian today to hand over the management fee to us? Fong Lang Tiao looked at him and thought, management fee? Yi Qing Jiao touched the sword and replied fiercely, Senior Brother, you are being too cautious. Today, I am in charge, and we won't be paying the management fee in the future. Li Feng glanced at Fong Lang Tiao and called out, you probably can't take charge here. Let's not talk about this for now. Little friend beside you, I see you have a decent flame dog, why not join our spirit beast sect? Instead of staying in this broken sect, why not come to our spirit beast sect? There's a future in art here. Lang Tian raised an eyebrow and asked, flame dog? Yi Qing Jiao drew her sword, emitting spiritual energy, and shouted angrily, normally, you only interfere with my sect's recruitment of disciples. But today, you're directly robbing us like this. I'm not made of mud. Li Feng frowned and snorted, Miss, you haven't even left your mother's milk, refusing to drink invited wine but wanting to drink punishment wine instead? Lang Feng Eagle, teach him a lesson. Lang Feng Eagle was sweating, standing still and staring at him with narrowed eyes. Lang Feng Eagle, aren't you supposed to be my spirit beast protector? Why are you not listening? If you keep this up, I will tell my father. In fact, Lang Tian was exuding pressure, glancing at it with a piercing look, and spat out a single word, get lost. Lang Feng Eagle was so scared that it flew away without a moment's hesitation. Li Feng, feeling lost, asked Lang Feng Eagle, what are you doing? He fell down and was puzzled, what happened to Lang Feng Eagle today? He angrily shouted, damn it, this time I will spare you. Just wait, I will definitely come back. Yi Qing Jiao was also confused, asking, what's going on? Why did he run away? Fong Lang Tiao chuckled lightly, speculating, he must have been scared away by your aura. Yi Qing Jiao awkwardly smiled and asked, Is that so? She bowed her head, chuckling. Afterwards, her nose grew longer by a whole foot, feeling smug, indeed, it is just as I thought. All my hard work over the past 3 years was not in vain. Fong Lang Tiao helplessly said, the collapse of the sect might not be entirely your fault. Lang Tian also agreed, replying with a At this moment, another person flew over and asked her, junior sister, why are you here? Yi Qing Jiao turned around and called out, senior brother, have you arrived? Li Hao Tian descended with a powerful aura, confused and asking, junior sister, where are the people from the spirit beast sect? Yi Qing Jiao responded excitedly, of course, I scared them away with my power. First, let's not talk about that. Let me introduce you, this is the new disciple I just recruited today. Li Hao Tian anxiously said, first, let's not discuss that. What exactly happened? Please tell me in detail. Yi Qing Jiao replied, alright, here's how it is. I told them that the Langiao sect will not pay any fees in the future. At first, they wanted to attack me, but that big bird was scared off by my power and they ran away. From what I see, the people of the spirit beast sect are just a bunch of upper-class fools. With a strong senior brother like you, you should have taught them a lesson long ago, right? Li Hao Tian quickly turned around, looked around, and then used his strength to fly away. Yi Qing Jiao called out in confusion, "Senior brother, where are you going? I haven't introduced the little junior brother I just recruited yet." She raised her hand to look into the distance, complaining, "Really? Where's the hurry? I still haven't introduced the new disciple yet." She turned to Fong Lang Tiao and said, "Never mind, I'll take you to the sect. Follow me." On the Lang Feng eagle side, Li Feng angrily cursed, "Damn it. You useless bird, you've made me lose all my face today." He gritted his teeth and growled, "I'm so furious. Once we get back, I will definitely tell my father to send someone to kill them, and then I'll get rid of you too. What is this Beast King realm? Just a coward." Suddenly someone from behind called out, "Li Feng, Daoist friend, please stop." Li Feng turned around to see him and asked, "Li Hao Tian?" Li Hao Tian smiled gently and said, "Daoist friend, please stop. I am here to apologize on behalf of my junior sister to you." Li Feng frowned and said, "You can go back. I will report today's incident to my father so the elder can decide." Li Hao Tian stepped forward, eager to mediate, saying, "This is just a misunderstanding, there's really no need to involve the elder." Li Feng replied solemnly, "Do you want me to let it go?" "That might be possible." Li Hao Tian smiled and said, "If you have any requests, please feel free to say." Li Feng wickedly licked his lips and set a condition, "Tell that brat to self-destruct his cultivation base, and then bring all members of the Langiao sect to personally apologize to me. By the way, let me inform you that my father has comprehended the law and soon will no longer be bound by your heavenly Tao contract." He raised his head and laughed heartily, "You can take your time to think about it." On the side of the Langiao sect, Fong Lang Tiao stepped onto the platform, surprised to find, strange, there's nothing to worry about in the sect at all. He wondered, so why are there no disciples here? Yi Qing Jiao approached, shouting loudly, "Junior brother, I'm back." Li Xiaofan looked at her with a vacant expression, "Senior sister, you're back." Yi Qing Jiao raised her hand to introduce, "This person is the youngest disciple in our sect, Li Xiaofan, quite shy." Fong Lang Tiao stepped forward to greet, "Xiaofan senior brother." Yi Qing Jiao reintroduced to Xiaofan, "The person behind me is a newly recruited disciple, his name is Fong Lang." He looked at him, saying, "Just call me Xiaofan." Fong Lang Tiao smiled and asked her, "Yi senior sister, our sect seems a bit deserted, right? I wonder how many people are in our sect." Yi Qing Jiao raised a finger and replied, "With you added, there are 5, just enough to participate in this year's Immortal Realm Conference." Li Xiaofan frowned and sighed, "Senior sister, you are being too straightforward." Yi Qing Jiao said, "Although there is one person who keeps disappearing, that person occasionally returns." Fong Lang Tiao thought blankly, "The number of people is much fewer than I imagined." Li Xiaofan explained, "In fact, it's because other forces have recently issued bans on outsiders joining the Langiao sect, but the treatment in our sect is not bad at all." Fong Lang Tiao had some doubts. If they want to destroy the Langiao sect, why don't the other sects directly attack the Langiao sect and instead resort to these tactics? What about the elders and masters? Are they doing nothing? Li Xiaofan lowered his eyes and hesitated, "This matter." Yi Qing Jiao also had an evasive attitude and changed the subject, "Xiaofan, take him to get familiar with the sect, I'm a bit tired, so I will rest first." Li Xiaofan replied, "Okay." Fong Lang Tiao looked after her and asked, "I heard that 100,000 years ago, when Fong Lang Tiao ascended, he caused the divine bridge to break, severing the path to immortality for everyone." Li Xiaofan recounted, 20 years ago, when the sect was besieged, the old master used his own life to sign a heavenly Tao agreement with all the major sections. The content of the agreement was that no other sect could actively attack Langiao sect. If he wanted to preserve the legacy of Langiao sect, the old master had to destroy his own cultivation foundation in return. As for the elders, only one was severely injured and has been in seclusion in the secret realm of the back mountain, with his life unclear. It was late, and the situation was quite complicated. I won't say more. First, I will take you to your accommodation. Fong Lang Tiao lowered his head, his hands clenched so tightly that they crackled like heavenly thunder. He said in a deep voice, "Puppy, do something for me." Lang Tian responded, "Please instruct me, my lord. In Yiqing Jiao's room, she was huddled in a corner when a fragrant scent wafted in. She raised her face to look around and asked, "What is that smell?" Then she lowered her head and said, "It really smells good." When she fell asleep, Li Hao Tian entered with a focused expression and a vial of anesthetic. "Junior sister, sleep first, okay?" He shut his eyes tightly and shouted, "Where is everyone?" Meanwhile, Li Xiaofan had brought Fong Lang Tiao to his room. "This is your place. If you need anything else, come find me. By the way, where is your dog?" Fong Lang Tiao said, "Maybe it's off finding a place to relieve itself." Li Xiaofan replied, "All right." Suddenly, there was an explosion from Yiqing Jiao's room, causing both of them to startle and look over. Yiqing Jiao seemed to lose consciousness and attacked Li Hao Tian. Li Xiaofan asked bewilderedly, "Grand senior brother, senior sister, why are they fighting?" He lowered his gaze and said, "It feels very dangerous. I will go home first." "Ling junior brother, you should also get away." Fong Lang Tiao gasped in surprise at his words. He smiled faintly and sighed, "You really value your life." Over here, Yiqing Jiao continued to swing her hands violently as if she wanted to take someone's life. Li Hao Tian had also suffered a serious injury to his chest and realized, "Early spirit infant, you are not the junior sister, who are you really?" Yiqing Jiao coldly raised her hand, exuding dangerous power, and said, "I told this girl long ago that her senior brother was not right, but she refused to believe me." Li Hao Tian asked in astonishment, "Are you that sword?" He flew up and said, "Senior, please listen to my explanation. The Langiao sect is no longer safe. I just want to take the junior sister away from the Langiao sect." The spirit sword doubtfully said, "Impossible. With the Heavenly Tao Covenant, other sects basically cannot attack the Langiao sect." Li Hao Tian replied with a heavy expression, "The ancestor of the spirit beast sect has found a way to bypass the Heavenly Tao Covenant. Although I don't know how they did it, I discovered the truth when I searched the soul of that young master." He thought to himself, "It seems the key on the little girl's person cannot be taken away. Time is running out, I have to leave immediately." At that moment, a pair of eyes emitting a powerful oppression spoke, "The little mouse secretly stole the oil." Li Hao Tian, taken aback with fear, immediately took out the talisman, formed a seal, and recited, transforming into a shadow, invisible and intangible, traversing thousands of miles. He yelled, "Conceal." Instantly, he vanished before Yiqing Jiao. The elder appeared, grabbed the talisman, and laughed heartily, "Talisman user." He landed and asked, "Is this to attract my attention using the cicada's molting trick? This little guy is quite quick on his feet. If my grandson is dead, then the Langiao sect doesn't need to exist anymore." He unleashed a dangerous force that turned the sky blood red. The spirit sword gritted its teeth, thinking, "This is a bit much. This old man has at least reached the spirit saint realm. For this girl, the price of a little cultivation and primordial energy is quite high." The elder waved his hand, causing the talisman to disappear, replaced by condensed spiritual energy, and spoke, "Dragon Clan girl, even at your peak, you are not my match." Furthermore, he spread his arms down towards the tiny Yiqing Jiao with terrifying power, continuing, "Right now, you are merely a soul form." Yiqing Jiao was stunned because he was being controlled. At that moment, a figure stood on top of the tower and called out, "Hey, old man." Fong Lang Tiao laughed and advised, "Let's talk it over, there must be some misunderstanding. No need to resort to violence like this." The elder's eyes lit up, and using divine consciousness to probe again, he was startled. "Strange, he has no cultivation. No, I can't see through this person." Yiqing Jiao, feeling oppressed and tightly held, was also calculating, "This old man is not just a spirit saint realm, I must run quickly." The elder replied gently, "Of course, I have a few things I want to ask as well." Yiqing Jiao was taken aback, "Can we talk?" On the spirit beast sect side, Lang Tian smirked and thought, "This time, the main body has the authority." He transformed back into human form, unleashing flames with a powerful and imposing demeanor. "Little thief of the spirit beast sect, your grandpa Fong Lang Tiao is here." The spirit beast sect was engulfed in flames. "Fong Lang Tiao has arrived." The master of the spirit beast sect turned around in panic and asked the disciples, "Where is the elder? And what about the spirit beasts? Why is no one here?" One disciple, more anxious than ever to save his own skin, replied, "The spirit beasts won't come out. The elder is behind you." Hearing this, he looked at the people being burned in the sea of fire. With no way to struggle, he cursed, "Damn it. Without the spirit beasts, the sect's fighting power will drop significantly. That old man isn't here at this crucial moment." He wondered, why has this damned calamity come to us? Does he not fear being hunted by the upper three sects? Fong Lang Tiao unleashed his power from above and shouted, "Hey old man, I've come to demand some items from you." The master of the spirit beast sect was sweating and gravely asked him, "Kid Lang Tiao, our sect is affiliated with the upper three sects, aren't you afraid of their revenge?" Fong Lang Tiao coldly looked down at him and replied, "If I were afraid, I wouldn't be here. Hand over 80% of the sect's treasures and I will leave." The master of the spirit beast sect was taken aback, his neck bulging as he angrily asked, 80%? "You brat Lang Tiao, do you think I'm afraid of you?" Fong Lang Tiao raised a finger along with a flaunting flame, saying, "You better be a little scared." After saying that, he struck down with a terrifying palm, hitting the man. Several disciples rushed over and called out, "Master, are you okay?" The master of the spirit beast sect was burned, his flesh and clothes charred, and he was unconscious. Lang Tian laughed mockingly and said, "Don't worry, I left him one breath. Now tell me if you agree or not." The disciples looked heavily at the master of the spirit beast sect, who was gasping and managed to say, "Let him." Turning back to Lang Tiao's sect, Fong Lang Tiao calmly spoke to persuade, "If there is any misunderstanding, we can discuss it." He thought to himself, "I must delay until Doggy returns." The elder shot a dangerous glance at him and also agreed, "All right, but if you want to negotiate with me, you must take 2 moves from me first. Do you agree?" He thought, "I will test this kid's strength." Fong Lang Tiao replied indifferently, "No problem." The elder clenched his fists, releasing dangerous power, then suddenly tightened his grip. The air around where Fong Lang Tiao stood darkened, yet he remained indifferent as if nothing was happening. The elder thought seriously, it didn't explode at all. There is indeed something wrong. Fong Lang Tiao stood straight on the tower and shouted, "Don't hold back." He smiled and asked the old man, "Where are your spirit beasts?" The spirit sword was taken aback, surprised, not harmed at all. The elder's eyes lit up, his brows furrowed as he retorted, "My spirit beasts." He raised 2 fingers, channeling power, "Do you have the qualifications to meet a senior?" A magic circle appeared beneath the elder, unleashing its might. He formed a seal and called out, "Senior, please speak with this little friend." The spirit sword fell freely, urgently urging Fong Lang Tiao to get out of the way. But he stared directly at the power approaching and enveloping him. All around was only darkness. He put his hands on his hips, realizing, so that's it, it's a spatial spirit beast. Quite rare. The spatial spirit beast spoke, quite intrigued and curious about him, "You have no spiritual energy but can withstand an attack from that brat. Moreover, you have very keen eyes. Young man, my curiosity about you is about to overflow. Let me guess, your flesh and blood are incredibly strong, yet you have no spiritual energy. There are only 2 possibilities. You took over this body but were thrown back, or you have abandoned cultivation and run away, now only your arrogant body remains without any spiritual energy. Little friend, why not give your body to me? I will help you take revenge." Spatial spirit beasts appeared behind Fong Lang Tiao, his sinister smile staring at him. "I am the king of the dragon clan. Hand over your body to me, and you will not suffer any loss." Fong Lang Tiao laughed mockingly, saying, "Revenge? Based on your soul integration stage, can you only survive in a small space like this?" He chuckled lightly at the spatial spirit beasts, "I find it very curious. How can a snake like you dare to claim to be from the dragon clan? Outside the space, the spirit sword began to lose hope and calculated. I thought that kid could bring some hope. It seems I have to run away quickly now. The elder seemed to know his intentions and spoke up first. Dragon Clan little friend, before the senior finishes discussing, I advise you not to run away, otherwise, you will die. The spirit sword, hearing this, broke out in a cold sweat, his expression serious, thinking, is it vein suppression? Wait, could it be? He asked, are you the dragon sovereign Li? His eyes lit up in admiration. I didn't expect there would still be someone who knows my true name. Spirit Sword couldn't help but exclaim in astonishment, wasn't it 10,000 years ago that you died? Suddenly, at that moment, the space of the spirit beasts was shattered. Dragon Sovereign Li and Spirit Sword turned to look. Fong Lang Tiao still hadn't retracted his fist, his cold gaze questioning, so you are the ancient refugees. I am very curious, how did the Spirit Beast Sect revive you? Spirit Sword stared at him blankly, saying, I see now. Dragon Sovereign Li asked telepathically, Senior, what happened? The spatial spirit beasts appeared beside him and said, Kid, to put it briefly, my assessment was flawed. That treasure cannot be obtained for now. I will lend you my strength to help you regain your peak. I will fall into a deep sleep, but this time is different from before, do not fight. He grasped the man's head and urged, run quickly. What a pleasant surprise, Fong Lang Tiao remarked, standing opposite Dragon Sovereign Li. Have you become younger? Moreover, have you broken through to divinity? Dragon Sovereign Li calmly asked, run. The more afraid you are, the more cowardly you become. He unleashed powerful energy and continued, although I don't know who you are, today I have regained my peak, so there's no need for further discussion. Spirit Sword sweated as he observed the power, thinking, is this the Dragon Sovereign? No wonder he could suppress the Dragon Clan for 1,000 years back then. He anxiously said, for now, I can only hope that this person named Fong Ling can create an opportunity for me to escape. Dragon Sovereign Li clenched his fist, exuding strength, let me test you. He waved his hand backward, and a weapon appeared. Fong Lang Tiao was surprised and thought, the power of law. Before long, Dragon Sovereign Li used the weapon with terrifying strength against him. However, he soon became serious, as Fong Lang Tiao had grasped his hand. Fong Lang Tiao's eyes brightened, and his voice turned cold, it seems you are not proficient in using the law. Dragon Sovereign Li scoffed, you have quite the audacity, don't you? A hole appeared in his palm, gathering power. Fong Lang Tiao widened his eyes, recognizing the flames of the ancient Dragon Clan. He quickly jumped to avoid that powerful strike. Dragon Sovereign Li transformed into a mighty dragon blade. Fong Lang Tiao frowned in confusion, it looks similar, but it's not dragon fire. Could it be? Suddenly, Dragon Sovereign Li appeared behind him, the blade raised high, ready to strike down. Then, he unleashed a full-force attack, slicing through the tower with immense power. Fortunately, Fong Lang Tiao had leaned back to evade the strike. He turned his head in shock and shouted, Tower. He jumped over the debris to land. Meanwhile, Dragon Sovereign Li was intently staring at Langiao, thinking, is the low power of the magic weapon due to the low concentration of spiritual energy? He lightly closed his eyes and casually said, although the power of the magic weapon is now less than half of what it used to be, it's still enough for you. Fong Lang Tiao lowered his head, his voice filled with anger as he growled, I'm getting fed up with this. He gathered his strength and flew toward Dragon Sovereign Li, waving his hand back, preparing to strike. That tower was built from divine wood, he added, super expensive, before hitting him hard in the mouth. Dragon Sovereign Li spat blood and fell backward. Spirit Sword widened its eyes in confusion, wondering, what is he talking about? Is that the name of a technique? Dragon Sovereign Li's eyes turned white, his consciousness fading, as he vaguely recalled the past. Li, although you were once a genius of the sect, your spiritual roots have been crippled in this trial, and you can no longer form contracts with spirit beasts. The old man in blue directly dismissed him. The sect does not support the crippled, you should leave the mountain. Dragon Sovereign Li looked up with sorrowful eyes and replied, Sect Master, I was injured because of the sect, which is why I am in this state. The sect master did not respond and continued, it's time to take off the Holy Sun's clothing. Dragon Sovereign Li bowed his head in silence, then removed his sect robe and token. The grand senior brother of the sect, Lu Qinghe, called out in confusion, Li, are you okay? Xiao Bai and I are very worried about you. The others looked at him and said, Qinghe's senior brother cares so much for a useless person, how kind. Lu Qinghe ignored them and continued to ask Li with concern, are you alright? Dragon Sovereign Li bowed his head and simply replied, then smiled brightly at Lu Qinghe, I'm fine, don't worry. It's just leaving the sect, right? Rivers have bends, and people have their moments. Seeing his attitude, Lu Qinghe became even more worried and fell silent. The purple-clad disciple behind them watched and frowned, the relationship between the two is indeed extraordinary. The pink-haired one next to him raised a finger and said, as I understand it, Qinghe's senior brother was picked up by Li Yi's parents, and after raising him, they both joined the mountain gate together, so they can be considered brothers without blood relation. The purple-clad disciple looked at him and understood, so that's it, no wonder. Dragon Sovereign Li remained unfazed, reassuring him. Don't worry, in a few years, after I encounter some fortuitous event, I might still surpass you. You need to keep working hard too. Lu Qinghe closed his eyes, sadly not responding. That evening, when Dragon Sovereign Li returned to the village, he saw a large white snake, next to it was Lu Qinghe. His eyes reddened as he looked at the two corpses and called out. Father, Mother. Lu Qinghe looked at him and said. Li, you finally came back. Dragon Sovereign Li asked in surprise. Qinghe, why are you here? Lu Qinghe raised his hand sadly and replied. I planned to come back to find you. But I encountered an evil cultivator, and uncle and aunt also met with misfortune. Dragon Sovereign Li was even more surprised to hear this. How can there be an evil cultivator in the territory of the righteous sect? Lu Qinghe chuckled. I really can't pretend anymore, the excuse I made up is too poor. Dragon Sovereign Li looked at him with increasing confusion. What are you talking about? Lu Qinghe laughed coldly, admitting. I killed your parents, do you understand now? Dragon Sovereign Li clenched his fists, looking at him in disbelief, his voice trembling and stuttering. Qinghe, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why? He unleashed a surge of furious energy, charging forward, shouting, why? Lu Qinghe had a cold, sharp gaze. As he rushed in, he was bitten by the white serpent, crashing into the wall, causing an explosion. Lu Qinghe slowly approached, also filled with resentment, saying, from childhood to now, you have always suppressed me, forcing me to live in your shadow. Dragon Sovereign Li's face darkened as he glared at him. Lu Qinghe, with a murderous intent forming, said, clearly, my talent surpasses yours, yet you always receive fortuitous encounters, like a mountain standing before me. You have destabilized my Tao heart, I must kill you. Dragon Sovereign Li spat blood, lowering his head and saying, the divine bridge has been severed. Why must we fight? His eyes gradually began to close as he continued to ask, why? At that moment, there was another voice, how many are left over there? 8,000 high-grade spirit stones. How about it? Too many. There should only be 3,000 left over there. Dragon Sovereign Li startled and jumped up, only to realize he was bound. Fong Lang Tiao raised a finger and called out, old man, pay 2,999 high-grade spirit stones for me to repair this tower, and answer one question of mine, then I will let you go. Dragon Sovereign Li lowered his head in thought, a normal rope, although it can be escaped from, surely cannot run away. For revenge and ascension, I still cannot die. He closed his eyes and said, I admit defeat, I agree to your request. Fong Lang Tiao chuckled lightly, along with Lang Tian, who laughed cunningly, we've made a fortune. Dragon Sovereign Li stared at him and asked, who exactly are you? Fong Lang Tiao coldly countered, now it's my turn to ask you, how did you revive? Dragon Sovereign Li replied sharply, perhaps you are not from this world either. If you were revived by him, why pretend? Fong Lang Tiao, confused, asked, revive? Revived by whom? Dragon Sovereign Li exclaimed in surprise, wait, you mean you weren't revived? No way, how could you do that? You don't even have spiritual energy waves, how can that be? Could it be that you weren't revived by him? Fong Lang Tiao looked at him with a puzzled expression, then said, how I exist has nothing to do with you. You just need to answer my question. Dragon Sovereign Li Yi's eyes brightened as he scrutinized Fong Lang Tiao. He was surprised and thought, no, the aura on you, you really are at the Spirit Foundation realm. He widened his eyes in confusion, but the spiritual energy in your Dantian is empty. Fong Lang Tiao, losing patience, asked again, how on earth did you come back to life? Dragon Sovereign Li did not answer but focused on observing his body. No, there is a small trace of energy, what is that? Thunder. The heavenly thunder inside him glowed, causing Dragon Sovereign Li to be stunned, his eyes also showing a hint of blood. He thought, this is. He sank into what was called devouring energy. A gigantic monster appeared before him. He drifted in Fong Lang Tiao's consciousness, there is heavenly thunder here, there is spiritual energy. He stared wide-eyed, then his soul had nearly dissipated, unable to return. Not good, the divine consciousness and soul are being refined. In reality, he was being slapped by Fong Lang Tiao, who shouted, hey! I'm asking you, why are you silent? Dragon Sovereign Li was stunned and serious, I'm back now. Fong Lang Tiao, annoyed, spoke up, are you determined to make me use special methods on you? Suddenly, Dragon Sovereign Li knelt down and bowed his head vigorously to him, thank you for saving my life, senior. Fong Lang Tiao looked at him in confusion. Dragon Sovereign Li raised his head, hopeful, and said, if you do, who knows what you might achieve. Fong Lang Tiao looked at him in confusion, so you finally decided to speak. Dragon Sovereign Li revealed a hole in his chest and said, inside me lies an artificial core, similar to an inner Dan but also different from it. Lang Tian thought seriously, an artificial inner Dan. Could it be related to the inner Dan I have been collecting for hundreds of years? Dragon Sovereign Li lowered his eyes and recounted, firstly, the price for revival is that one can never escape the control of that person. Fong Lang Tiao asked in surprise, never escape. Is there such a method? What is his background? Dragon Sovereign Li replied, I cannot know the background of the opponent. The person I revived also dresses very strangely, not like anyone from this world. Fong Lang Tiao stroked his chin, feeling puzzled, not like anyone from this world. Dragon Sovereign Li recalled a bit and said, that's right. They possess no spiritual energy, yet can easily unleash the power of rules. Although this core can help me successfully revive, it cannot absorb spiritual energy from this world. He gently closed his eyes and said, most of the consumed spiritual energy is absorbed from within the core. Fong Lang Tiao had something difficult to understand. But earlier when you fought me, you were still able to use the spiritual energy of this world, right? Dragon Sovereign Li replied seriously, that is the power of a senior. This time, it's also the senior using his life scales to help me conceal my control. Fong Lang Tiao raised his head and said, one last question, what is your main purpose for coming to the Langiao sect? This will determine whether I kill you or not. Dragon Sovereign Li looked at him and honestly said, I have no ill intentions towards the Langiao sect. The Grand Senior Brother of the Langiao sect is not a member of the Langiao sect. He stated, if you were truly a member of the Langiao sect, due to the constraints of the heavenly Tao, I would certainly not harm him in the Langiao sect. This time I came to the Langiao sect just to reclaim a treasure that can reshape the divine bridge. He continued, if I ascend successfully, I can escape from the control of others. Fong Lang Tiao was skeptical. Supreme treasure, could it be? Dragon sovereignly added, as for other matters, wait until the celestial gathering. When you meet that person, you will know the answer. Fong Lang Tiao widened his eyes and asked, celestial gathering? The celestial gathering that is held once every 500 years. Dragon sovereignly was sweating and coughed a few times. Because the divine bridge has collapsed, the concentration of spiritual energy has significantly decreased. The longest lifespan is only 1,000 years. The immortal gathering is now held once every 30 years. He thought seriously, indeed, he is not a person of this era. He wiped his sweat and wondered, the immortal gathering in my time was held once every 100 years. What kind of monster is this person from which era? Surviving until now? He hesitantly asked Fong Lang Tiao, I've said everything that needs to be said, can you let me go now? Fong Lang Tiao turned his head and called, doggy, untie him. Lang Tian obediently replied, okay. Dragon sovereignly clasped his hands and said, Senior, the cultivating immortals world today is different from the past. The one that the cultivating immortals world must be wary of now is the outsider. He emphasized seriously, although your strength is very strong, please be cautious. We will meet again at the immortal gathering. Fong Lang Tiao looked at him, puzzled, and thought, an outsider. It seems I must participate in the immortal gathering after all. At that moment, a loud shout startled him. Yi Qing Jiao was sitting on the ground, her legs dying, making a thud, thud, thud sound. Fong Lang Tiao frowned and said to her, oh no, I almost forgot about her. Yi Qing Jiao pointed and asked, Junior brother, what exactly happened? Why did the tower collapse? Fong Lang Tiao smiled and replied, there was an earthquake just now, so. Yi Qing Jiao exclaimed in shock, why did this happen? Right when the sect's finances are tight. Fong Lang Tiao approached and inquired, I heard that the first place in this celestial tournament will receive a bunch of spirit stones and cultivation resources. Yi Qing Jiao looked at him and replied, but the strength of our sect. Fong Lang Tiao, confident in her, praised, with the talent of senior sister, you will definitely win first place. Yi Qing Jiao was taken aback but believed him, saying, that makes sense. Fong Lang Tiao watched her run off cheerfully, thinking, indeed, she is very easy to deceive. He stroked his chin seriously, calculating, next, I need to quickly strengthen myself. Should I take that treasure? Inside a cave, Li Hao Tian, holding his wound, was teleported there, lamenting, that was too dangerous, I almost lost my life. Suddenly, a dangerous force emanated from Li Hao Tian's severed arm, and he stared in shock as that force controlled his arm to lift up. From above, Lu Qinghe grasped that power and exclaimed, I sensed your aura as soon as I arrived in the lower world, is it just the tracking mark of Li Yi? Still casually using petty tricks like before. Lu Qinghe squinted at him and asked, who are you? Lu Qinghe lowered his 2 fingers and said, kid, you should show some respect. Li Hao Tian was crushed by the powerful pressure, causing the ground to crack and his body to cough up blood. He looked up in shock, it's just pressure and yet. Lu Qinghe lectured him for a while and then introduced himself, I am the envoy of the immortal world, you can call me Qinghe Zhenren. He stepped on Li Hao Tian and leaned down to ask, you must know where the items of the Langiao sect are, right? Dragon Sovereign Li Yi also felt his mark disappear and stopped. He looked over seriously, thinking, someone from the immortal world. He looked up and asked, are you here to take me back? The people above said you are just an experimental subject, not worth our effort to deal with. Dragon Sovereign Li Yi guessed, could it be that you came down here because of someone from the upper world? The girl in the yellow dress, sitting on a plump bird, leisurely replied, that's right. If it weren't for the immortal world not being able to sit still anymore, I wouldn't bother coming down. Dragon Sovereign Li Yi asked, immortal world? The girl replied, that's right, they sent a half-step golden immortal envoy down here. And he's an old acquaintance of yours. Dragon sovereignly irradiated evil energy and asked, an old acquaintance. The girl raised her finger, trying to remember, that person who became the hunting dog of the immortal world to ascend. What was their name again? I think it was Lu Qinhe. Upon hearing this, Dragon Sovereign Li Yi's eyes flashed with a hint of blood. Fong Lang Tiao was over here cultivating with spirit stones. He adjusted his breath and looked at the spirit stones, thinking, 2,000 high-grade spirit stones and I still can't improve. My Dantian feels like an endless abyss. He said seriously, it seems I need to take that item out. He called out, Doggy, I have a task for you. Lang Tian eagerly replied, please go ahead, sir. Fong Lang Tiao clenched his fist and instructed, in the coming days, I will need to leave for a few days. You will watch over the sect in my place. Lang Tian responded, no problem. Fong Lang Tiao went to a certain place. He approached, raised his hand to open the door, and then entered. Looking straight ahead, he suddenly stopped. On the stone tablet it was written, Fong Lang Tiao and dogs are not allowed to enter. Fong Lang Tiao frowned in annoyance, who is so immoral as to write this on a stone tablet? He raised an eyebrow and snorted, just because Fong Lang Tiao is not allowed in, what does that have to do with me? Fong Lang Tiao approached the box and asked, where are the other items? Why is there only one box? He was suspicious, why does it look like a trap? He stared at the box, calculating, if I get this, perhaps I can take another step forward. Suddenly, a masked man wielding a sword lunged at Fong Lang Tiao. He glanced over and then used a punch to deflect the sword away. The sleeve of his robe was still grazed, leaving a tear. The sword was knocked back, and the man plunged it into the ground. Fong Lang Tiao's expression turned serious as he realized, Great Ascension stage. No, stronger than Great Ascension. What she has in her hand is. He widened his eyes, recognizing it as sword intent law. He hurriedly shouted, wait. Stop. The girl had a cold expression, her hand lightly gliding over the sword intent. Fong Lang Tiao cursed in frustration, damn it. The powerful sword intent flew towards him, sweeping through the outside of the sect. Fortunately, Fong Lang Tiao used all his strength to block that overwhelming force, nearly losing the sect. The girl, with a perplexed expression, touched her chin and asked, aren't you a half-step golden immortal? Why haven't you killed him yet? Fong Lang Tiao's injuries gradually healed thanks to heavenly thunder. The girl pointed and asked, are you Fong Lang Tiao? Why aren't you looking at the stone tablet? Where's your dog? Fong Lang Tiao asked in shock, pointing back. Did you write on the stone tablet? The girl explained, the hidden trap I prepared was for someone else, those words were carved to prevent you from getting hurt. Fong Lang Tiao, confused, pointed at the chest, are you saying that this extremely obvious trap was prepared by you? The girl asked doubtfully, is it really that obvious? Fong Lang Tiao widened his eyes and said, it's way too obvious. Hey, he squinted and asked seriously, let's not talk about this for now. What I'm most curious about right now is who you are. The white-haired girl leisurely replied, your personality is still the same as when I first met you. Fong Lang Tiao said, it sounds like you mean we've known each other for a long time. The white-haired girl manipulated something and said, I originally intended to help you resolve this sooner, but since you're here, I can give you this. Fong Lang Tiao was surprised and thought, Inner Dan. And it's incomplete. The supreme treasure that has been protected by the sect for so many years is just an incomplete Inner Dan. The white-haired girl looked at him and asked, do you know whose Inner Dan this is? Fong Lang Tiao replied, how would I know? This thing has been around since I was a child. She said with an expressionless face, it's yours. Fong Lang Tiao was shocked and stared wide-eyed, mine. The girl with white hair raised her finger and said, but this is just a part of your Inner Dan. There are 4 more around the world, which not only seal a part of your previous cultivation but also. Fong Lang Tiao asked impatiently, what else? She handed the inner Dan to him, replying, once you absorb this inner Dan, you will know everything. Her body soon began to fade away, you just need a little more time. But this incarnation of mine doesn't have much time left. Fong Lang Tiao exclaimed anxiously, wait. Who are you? How do you know these things? Before she faded away, the girl introduced herself, my name is Bai Li, and soon. She smiled and said, we will meet again. Fong Lang Tiao pondered seriously, why do I feel so familiar with this woman? Suddenly, half of the inner Dan flew into Fong Lang Tiao's body, causing the remaining half of his clothing to be destroyed by the force. He was astonished and thought, I've broken through to the golden elixir in cultivation. He clenched his fists and realized, does this inner Dan accelerate the absorption of heavenly thunder power? It seems these inner dawn are the key for me to become stronger. He felt a bit dizzy and supported his forehead with his hand, my head hurts too much. Vague memories surfaced. A spirit blocked the sword, calling itself Fong Lang Tiao. I am very pleased with you, welcome to the immortal world. Abandon your body and soul to embrace the ascended. Fong Lang Tiao formed a seal and said, the space around here is an unstable state of 4-dimensional and 5-dimensional realms, this is merely a layer between two spaces. He looked up and realized, I understand now, we are not truly ascended. Bai Li asked Fong Lang Tiao, what are 4-dimensional and 5-dimensional realms? Fong Lang Tiao closed his eyes in confusion, how do I explain this scientific issue to her? After all, I can't say I'm not from this world, so I can only say it this way. He turned to Bai Li and asked, do you believe? She formed a seal and replied, I trust you. She lowered her head and said, after all, since childhood, you have always said things I hear but don't understand. Yet you are always right. Fong Lang Tiao responded with an to put it simply, now the ascended have discarded their physical bodies, awakening the transcend tribulation, feathered ascended. But given the current situation, true ascended will need to use their bodies as vessels. He looked at her and called, Bai Li, there is only one way now, quickly activate your law, you need to start over. He said, I have calculated, the time here is different from the flow of time in the lower world. 1 day here equals 1 year down there, I will wait for you here. Bai Li firmly said, no, I am waiting for you. Fong Lang Tiao looked at her in surprise, what? Bai Li took out the inner Dan and said, Lang Tiao, you are smarter than I am. Fong Lang Tiao solemnly realized her intention, wait, do you mean? The people from the immortal world raised their hands and shouted, do not leave. But Bai Li performed a gesture, pushing Fong Lang Tiao away. Wait, Bai Li, he shouted, don't. But Bai Li remained unmoved, looking at the inner Dan in her hand. She also used a strike to pierce the hand of the immortal world person, causing him to angrily say, what a waste, starting over again. When the thunder tribulation comes, I will surely seize his body, reincarnate, and ascend countless times. This time, I choose you. Bai Li gently closed her eyes and called, Fong Lang Tiao. He opened his eyes wide, thinking, this memory. He looked at the item in his hand and said, this is the earring of that woman. He raised the earring to examine it, wondering, her name is Bai Li, what is the relationship between her and me? He then saw clothing and a piece of paper. Inside the paper, it was written, wear this, I like it. Fong Lang Tiao clenched his hand, thinking, if those memories are true, then my realm of cultivation is still not enough. He said seriously, first, strengthen the realm. On this side, Lang Tian was training alone, boasting, I am the strongest guardian, protecting the master's peace. Suddenly, a space began to open beside him. Lu Qing he stepped out from within and approached, saying, little dog, where is Fong Lang Tiao? If you say you don't know, I will get angry. Lang Tian frowned, thinking, the power of law is too strong, but it's not as good as the boss, I just need to hold him off. Lu Qing he, with a strong spiritual energy emanating from his body, said, aren't you going to answer? I'm about to get angry. Lang Tiao unleashed his heavenly fire power, declaring, after signing the contract with the boss, my strength has increased quite a bit, I can buy some time. Lu Qinghe put his hands on his hips and exclaimed, a heavenly fire demon wolf. Lang Tiao immediately unleashed a fire attack to counter. A powerful strike was split in two by Lu Qinghe's sword intent. Lang Tiao grunted, thinking, was it split in half? Lu Qinghe summoned Xiao Bai and ordered, it's rare to encounter ancient demon beasts, Xiao Bai, are you eager? Then I'll reward him to you. Lang Tiao moved up high, his eyes radiating spiritual energy in defense, thinking, the cultivation of this white snake is much higher than mine, but fortunately, my bloodline can barely suppress the opponent. Lu Qinghe calmly exclaimed, it's truly rare, after Xiao Bai devours a person, it must be able to advance another step. Xiao Bai, eat it. As soon as he said that, Xiao Bai grew larger and charged aggressively. Lang Tiao immediately released flames to block its approach, but Xiao Bai dodged and quickly wrapped around Lang Tiao. The spirit sword, hiding to the side, cursed under his breath, damn it, I thought the Langiao sect would be a place to rest and recuperate. With only a month left until the immortal gathering, why are there so many trivial matters these days? He looked outside and thought, maybe I should just run away. This snake's cultivation is much higher than mine, it's not even in the same realm. Lang Tiao called out through sound transmission, stop just staring. The spirit sword was stunned, is this damn dog transmitting sound to me? Lang Tiao struggled to say, do you think you can take care of yourself without helping me? The spirit sword solemnly cursed, you damn dog, isn't survival the most important thing? I am the last hope of the dragon clan. Lang Tiao chuckled, you don't even care about the dignity that the dragon clan values most, let alone hope. In the end, someone like you from the dragon clan is not even as good as a snake resembling a dragon. The spirit sword unleashed its power, you damn dog. He shouted, stop rambling, and then transformed into the dragon clan. He lunged forward and swallowed Xiao Bai whole. Lu Qinghe raised his hand to his forehead and looked on, oh, is it a dragon? The dragon clan circled a few times before landing heavily, causing a tremendous shockwave. Lang Tiao quickly rushed in and bit down hard on Xiao Bai. Seeing it falter, Lu Qinghe raised his hand to unleash spiritual energy, the bloodline really is something that makes one uncomfortable. He waved his hand down, and a powerful pressure pinned both the dragon clan and Lang Tiao down. Meanwhile, Dragon Sovereign Li Yi was still questioning the girl, you say it's Lu Qinghe? The immortal palace girl replied, that's right, an old acquaintance of yours, Lu Qinghe. Oh, have you finally decided to use the power of Inner Dan? Dragon Sovereign Li Yi unleashed his might, gritting his teeth and hissing each word, Lu Qinghe. He shouted again, Lu Qinghe, and gathered his strength to take off. Over here, Lu Qinghe had forced the spirit sword to manifest as a person. He leisurely approached and said, what a pleasant surprise. Although it's just a broken body, after absorbing you, Xiao Bai's bloodline will become even purer. He crossed his arms and commanded Xiao Bai, devour them. At that moment, Dragon Sovereign Li Yi had also arrived. Before Xiao Bai could swallow both of them, he used a sword aura with immense strength to strike down at him, emphasizing the name, Lu Qinghe. He turned around, his eyes radiating spiritual energy, arms spread wide as he laughed heartily, saying, Li Yi, I've missed you so much. Xiao Bai fell apart in pieces. A sword strike from the dragon Sovereign Li Yi aimed directly at Lu Qinghe, but he casually blocked the sword with one hand. Oh, your cultivation is truly surprising, what kind of fortune have you encountered? Dragon Sovereign Li Yi looked at him as if he wanted to devour him whole, saying, you talk too much. With that, the powerful illusion of his Dharma manifestation magical talent appeared. Lu Qinghe looked at the illusion and praised, after all these years, your strength has improved a bit. The power of Dragon Sovereign Li Yi enveloped him, but Lu Qinghe remained unfazed, with just a wave of his hand, he could control Dragon Sovereign Li Yi. But your mind is still lacking. He was enveloped by his own power and stood still, thinking, I can't move. Lu Qing, he calmly said, Dharma manifestation magical talent is nothing when faced with the law. Behind him, a voice called out, Hey, little guy. Lu Qing, he paused and looked at the black-haired girl riding the golden bird from earlier. She said, You should tone it down a bit, you still need to follow the rules. Lu Qing, he squinted and asked, Are you from the Immortal Palace? The Immortal Palace girl coldly raised a finger with spiritual energy as a warning, If you know my identity, then behave yourself for me. Lu Qing, he chuckled and complained, So boring. He snapped his fingers to gather Xiao Bai's remains and called out, Li Yi, if you want to find me for revenge. He stepped forward and said, Then we will meet again at the Immortal Gathering in a month. With that, Lu Qing, he disappeared. The Immortal Palace girl looked down and called, Hey, little dog, and the Dragon Clan too. Both of them looked up at her. The Immortal Palace girl said, Please convey my message to Fong Lang Tiao, if you want revenge, you can join our Immortal Palace. Both of them stared blankly and asked, Immortal Palace? The Immortal Palace girl and Dragon Sovereign Li Yi gradually vanished, saying, See you at the Immortal Gathering. Both of them disappeared. Time flowed like water, and months passed swiftly. A month later, Lang Tian stroked his chin in confusion, A month has passed, why hasn't the boss returned yet? Yi Qing Jiao excitedly asked from the other side, What if someone is missing, what should we do? Li Xiaofan advised, Grand Senior Sister, please calm down. At that moment, another person descended from the sky. The three of them looked over and asked, Who is this? The short-haired girl closed her eyes seriously and announced, I am the messenger of the immortal world, inviting you Daoist friends to enter this portal one by one. The immortal gathering is about to begin, and each sect must have at least 4 participants, with cultivation no lower than the Pills realm. Lang Tian frowned and thought, not enough people. Next to him appeared a piece of jade, and Bai Li emerged from within, saying, including me. Yi Qing Jiao exclaimed, Wow, Grand Senior Sister has such an aura. Lang Tian looked at her sternly, seemingly on guard, thinking, this person has the aura of a leader. The messenger continued, the location of this martial arts conference has been confirmed in Qingling City. A Ling rushed in, calling, City Lord, it's not good. Lan Go looked up at her. A Ling stopped and anxiously shouted, You should go take a look. Lan Go asked, What happened? Lan Go quickly ran outside, her eyes wide open at what lay before her. This is... A portal to the fairy realm gradually appeared in front of her. Lan Go stood there dumbfounded, thinking, it's over. All the competitors from various sects had already arrived since it appeared. Li Xiaofan looked at Yi Qing Jiao, asking one question after another, Senior Sister, why did horns suddenly grow on your head? Is that person Fong Lang Tiao? Yi Qing Jiao sighed and did not respond. Meanwhile, Lang Tian was very annoyed and asked, Can you manage your junior brother? He observed everyone present and wondered, what are the rules of the Fairy Realm Conference? Why do the other sects seem so heavy-hearted? I have a bad feeling about this. Bai Li remained very calm as if it were not the first time explaining. Those from the lower world participating in the Celestial Conference will not retain memories of this martial arts tournament. However, each time they participate, some people will be eliminated, and in return, anyone will feel that something is off. Yi Qing Jiao and Lang Tian stared wide-eyed in astonishment, what? Bai Li said, the only person from the lower world who could see through the truth is Lanyan Ao from the past. Unfortunately, his intelligence and integrity throughout his life ultimately led to his demise. Lang Tian was shocked and bewildered. Could it be that the reason Lanyan Ao passed away is? Do they consider the world to be foolish? Bai Li stated bluntly, in this world, without strength, one can only be a fool. Besides Fong Lang Tiao, who else dares to resist the heavenly Tao? Lang Tian looked at her and asked, what do you mean by that? Bai Li's eyes became indifferent as she said, because of desire. A girl with green eyes stood atop the high gate of the celestial realm announcing, "If you have all arrived, the rules will continue to follow the unchanged rules of 10,000 years. Defeating the envoy or surviving for 12 hours is sufficient. The reward for winning this celestial conference is a supreme treasure ascended." A few people behind looked at a person in front and said, "Nyo Elder, the rumors are true, surely you will be the next master." Nyo Elder snorted in admiration. "The master is not attending this celestial conference, it really gives me an opportunity." He glanced at the two people from another sect, still fiddling with his beads, but his mouth was full of complaints. The two leaders of the other sects in the upper three sects are both ugly and unappealing, and their cultivation is terrible. Once the supreme treasure ascends, I will definitely make the master my plaything. The blue-eyed girl announced. The celestial conference officially begins. Nyo Elder asked. "Where is the envoy?" Several disciples with dark expressions looked up and shouted. "Elder, up there." Nyo Elder frowned and said, lazily looking up, then widened his eyes upon seeing a phantom hand slowly descending. Dragon Sovereign Li. Nyo Elder and the three Lang Tiao were stunned. He looked over at Bai Li, anxiously calling out. "Think of something." Bai Li coldly formed a seal and shouted. Slash. Her sword intent fiercely sliced the phantom hand in half. Behind that hand, the hazy figure was Lu Qinghe. He crossed his arms, no longer feeling happy, and said. "Seriously." He emphasized the words. "Troublesome." Then he raised his hand to unleash spiritual energy. "I thought they were all just insignificant characters, I didn't expect there to be a few variables. Let's see who you are." He condensed the fiery essence for a long time, but Elder Nyo showed no fear and pointed arrogantly, "You pretentious fool, if you're so great, come down here and fight me one-on-one." As he spoke, Lu Qinghe's attack flew down towards him. The overwhelming power forced Elder Nyo to cry out in fear. He was so terrified that he flew towards Bai Li, shouting, "Get out, get out, get out." But Bai Li held his mouth shut with one hand. Elder Nyo quickly glanced back and summoned his protective Dharma body. The heat burned his clothes to ashes, and soon his body was also incinerated. Lu Qinghe behind him said, "Found you." Bai Li raised her hand to unleash a sword that flew towards him, creating a powerful force that wrapped around him in response, "I found you first." Her cold gaze uttered a single word, "Lock." Lu Qinghe was trapped in a transparent cage. The Dragon Clan joyfully asked, "Did it really succeed?" Lang Tiao clenched his fist and said, "Great. It worked." Lu Qinghe, with his severed arm extended forward in curiosity, said, "A barrier that almost freezes time. I didn't expect that. So, not only can I not restore my body, but I also can't unleash my laws." Dragon Sovereign Li flew in, channeling spiritual energy, and said, "Don't celebrate too soon, it's not over yet." Lu Qinghe turned and called out, "Li, you're not dead." The girl with green eyes glared down at him and scoffed, "So ugly." Lu Qinghe, I will report honestly about your performance. The tournament continues. Lu Qinghe, a bit panicked, exclaimed, "Don't. I was just underestimating my opponent." The girl with green eyes raised her head and shouted, "Sister, don't sleep anymore." Lang Tiao stared at her in shock. "What do you mean? Didn't the envoy get defeated?" She coldly retorted, "I never said there was only one envoy." Before everyone, a dark mist appeared along with a heavy pressure. Bai Li sensed it and thought, "This is not good." She quickly turned and shouted, "It's a celestial Dharma manifestation. Run!" The crowd responded with a long sigh, "Understood." From within the dark mist emerged a face. Wasn't it Fong Lang Tiao? "Lu Qinghe, you are truly a useless person." Lu Qinghe lowered his head and replied, "Senior is right." The girl with long hair cascading down her back yawned and stepped out from within, "So annoying. This caused Li Xiaofan to faint in fear. Lang Tian turned to look at her and asked, "Who is this?" She raised a finger and executed a technique, saying, "Isn't it enough to flatten the mainland in this space?" She pointed and used the Grand Void Treasury to unleash a dark dot that fell from her hand. Bai Li hurriedly formed a seal, gathering strength with her myriad forms spirit technique, the formless Dharma body. The long-haired girl also summoned the formless sword, stabbing towards Bai Li's Dharma body. Impressive, I didn't expect that just an external incarnation could wield such magical talent and Dharma manifestation. Bai Li's Dharma body raised its hand and commanded, "Go." The formless sword of the long-haired girl turned around and flew back towards her. Lang Tian held on to Lu Qinghe, who was restrained, and turned to praise, "Such strong magical talent, perhaps we won't even need the boss to win." Lu Qinghe shouted, "Little dog, I advise you to stop thinking too much, no one can escape the Grand Void Treasury." Lang Tian scoffed and said, "Are you talking about that black ball? I can teleport hundreds of miles instantly and easily evade it." Lu Qinghe rested his head on his hand and replied, "The Grand Void Treasury doesn't destroy, it compresses the spatial dimensions of the target, causing the predetermined area to collapse and shrink into a peculiar point. As long as the target remains within this mainland range, they cannot escape this spell, only those who break free from the grand universe can resist it." Lang Tian was stunned and worried, "So it means there's no way to escape." The dragon clan called out, "Hey, you damn dog, why are you stopping?" A Ling ran over and called out, "City Lord, some people who stayed in the city have all been dispersed." Lan Gu tightly held the jade pendant, lost in thought. In a battle of this level, whether or not there is a dispersal makes no difference. She no longer hesitated and crushed Fong Lang Tiao's jade pendant. "Senior, I wonder if you can resolve this calamity." The long-haired girl calmly replied, "My law is space, your magical talent cannot touch me. If you can't think of a way, then this mainland and you will have to disappear." Bai Li coldly responded, "You are right, this type of magical talent cannot stop you. My dual Dharma body cannot be wasted on you, and the energy of my external transformation is not enough." She emphasized, "Strike fast, win fast." The long-haired girl huffed in annoyance, trying to put on an act. She closed her eyes, anxiously thinking, "But what is this feeling of unease?" She opened her eyes, startled, "Wait, I remember now. Could this feeling be? But how could she?" She suddenly realized this was karma and became agitated. "You are crazy, using karma law, don't you fear karma rebounding?" Bai Li looked down at her with great oppression and said, "In this cycle, your karma is insignificant." As the timeline increased, the long-haired girl became fearful. Has the target of the celestial realm treasury turned into me? Why can't I resist? How did this happen? Bai Li, with a chilling and terrifying gaze, replied, "Your fate is to be struck down and killed by the celestial realm treasury." The long-haired girl was sucked into the void, repeatedly saying, "No, no." She reached out, trying to find a way to escape. "I am a true immortal, how could I be insignificant? No, no, this is not my karma, you imposed this on me. This is not allowed." Her desperate screams echoed out as the spatial rift gradually disappeared as if it had never existed. The green-eyed girl looked up and called, "Sister, don't sleep anymore." Lang Tian, confused, asked, "What do you mean? Wasn't the messenger defeated?" The green-eyed girl frowned, unable to think of anything else. She stood frozen, wondering, has my sister's existence been erased? Is time being reversed? Lang Tian exclaimed, "Hey, what do you mean? Sister what? Isn't it over?" The green-eyed girl did not respond but continued to stare blankly down. "I declare the fairy realm conference this time." She did not finish her sentence. A furious voice rang out, changing karma at will. It really shows no regard for the immortal palace. The blue-eyed girl turned her head. Several people, including Lang Tian, looked up. The immortal palace girl descended with overwhelming power, Touching karma is a grave crime, I accept the heavenly mandate. Her gaze shone through the white smoke, I am the great practitioner of the immortal palace. The blue-eyed girl was stunned and asked, what do you want to do? What you are doing will affect us. Lang Tian, feeling heavy-hearted, said, it's the end for us. Meanwhile, Lu Qing he directly cursed, damn it. A huge foot gradually descended to the ground, followed by a figure flying down just as quickly. Lan Ge shut her eyes tightly in fear and could only call out, Fong Sr. Then a hand reached out to grab her. Before the immortal palace girl's suppression fell to the ground and destroyed everything, Lan Ge slowly opened her eyes, thinking, am I not dead? Could it be? She looked ahead and called out, Fong Sr. To her surprise, the one who saved her was Bai Li. Ah, no, is it not? Bai Li's cold gaze threatened her. I saved you on behalf of Fong Lang Tiao. I have taken the jade pendant, so it's best for you to stay away from Fong Lang Tiao in the future. She thought, if it weren't for this little girl breaking the jade pendant, I wouldn't have chosen the karma law. Bai Li dropped them off in a safe place and flew away. You are safe now, I only brought you here, hurry and leave. Lan Ge watched her go, thank you, senior. The immortal palace girl continued to destroy the ground with a cold expression, repeating a phrase, those who disrupt the order deserve to die. Lang Tian looked back as if searching for something, cursing, damn it. I rushed too quickly. Where did that sealed messenger go? He looked up, wondering, why is it so dark? The immortal palace girl looked up at the eyes above and then transformed into a gourd, praising, a foreign body can reach this level, quite impressive. She read, heaven-swallowing gourd. Large. Bai Li also summoned a clone using a dual-layered Dharma body. The spirit general struck down at the heaven-swallowing gourd. The immortal palace girl laughed in delight, then unleashed a powerful force. It seems you prefer to strike quickly, but you cannot break my magic weapon, it will be useless. On the contrary, your energy is about to be exhausted. Unexpectedly, the heaven-swallowing gourd was instantly cracked by the terrifying pressure of the sword intent. She was stunned, how can this be? The heaven-swallowing gourd shattered into two, and the sword intent dissipated. The immortal palace girl, seeing this, guessed, it seems you have exhausted all the power of the foreign body. Her face turned as cold as ice. She decided, next, eliminate everyone present here. End karma. The gem of Fong Lang Tiao on the ground suddenly emitted light. She activated the destruction mode and moved forward, saying to herself, although it's a bunch of insignificant pests, erasing karma and bringing them back for experimentation isn't bad, plus there are people from the upper world. That person in the immortal palace has long been curious about your body structure, it's not bad material for inner Dan. Unbeknownst to her, a figure appeared behind her and spoke, so the fake inner Dan was made by you. The immortal palace girl paused. Fong Lang Tiao placed her hands on her hips and sighed, it seems I arrived not too late after all. Lang Tian happily called out, boss. Fong Lang Tiao said, the teleportation jade pendant teleported me just in time when I had just stabilized my cultivation, the timing was perfect. She thought, moreover, the memories of my previous life have helped me recover part of my magical talent. The immortal palace girl glanced at Fong Lang Tiao and said, you better tell me that you came to join us, otherwise. Fong Lang Tiao raised her hand to condense the myriad swords technique behind her and asked, otherwise, what? The immortal palace girl widened her eyes, solemnly, having been pierced through by the barren sunless sword before she could even react. Fong Lang Tiao smiled faintly and continued, otherwise, will you die for me to see? The immortal palace girl was stabbed through the body but remained unresponsive, stunned. Is my true form damaged? Is this the ancient magical talent used to kill gods? She stared in fear at Fong Lang Tiao. With the golden elixir still in play, how can this kind of magical talent be used? Is he not bound by the rules of the heavenly Tao? Could he really be a heavenly Tao celestial body? Fong Lang Tiao rested his chin on his hand, bored, and said, "Hey. If you're hitting a child, then surely an old man will come, it must be this trick. Hurry and get that thunderballed old man here." The immortal palace girl narrowed her eyes in anger, thinking, "Damn it, you dare to look down on me." She shouted in fury, "Do you think you are really the heavenly Tao? Today, even if I have to risk my life, I will make you pay and disappear from this world." She unleashed the power of the heavenly sixth self-origin great technique, causing the earth to seem surrounded by lightning. Fong Lang Tiao also raised his hand to cast the Hongmeng Wujia minor realm. The immortal palace girl prepared to explode her form. "Let's disappear together." Hongmeng's initial judgment. The immortal palace girl asked in confusion, "Where is this?" She looked up into Fong Lang Tiao's eyes as his cold voice declared, "In this world, I am the heavenly Tao." He pondered for a moment and then casually crushed the orb in his hand. Lang Tian joyfully praised, "The boss is really impressive." Fong Lang Tiao suddenly used sound transmission to call out, "Doggy, run as far away as possible, you will be a hindrance here." Lang Tian was stunned, thinking, this is the boss's sound transmission. He quickly turned around and shouted, "Run fast, the boss says we should run as far away as possible." Damn, the people from the immortal world run so fast. Beside him, Fong Lang Tiao appeared, holding the corpse of the immortal palace girl, and spoke, "This magical talent is really impressive, can you teach me?" Fong Lang Tiao paused and looked at him, "You've finally arrived." The man holding the corpse of the immortal palace girl put it into space, "Little golden rooster, you can go back and rest. Heavenly Tao is really biased, I put all my effort into tricking you to the middle level of time, but it allowed you to grow strong to this extent. 30 years have only 20 watch hours, and with the changes of karma, there's not much time left." He thought, if it weren't for Lan Yunao breaking the divine bridge. He looked over at Fong Lang Tiao, calculating, but there should be enough time. "Now I give you two choices, join us, and I can even give you a part of your inner Dan." He sincerely took out the inner Dan from his hand, "The other choice is." He fell silent at this point. Fong Lang Tiao crossed his arms, appearing to think. But in reality, he didn't need any inner Dan at all. "It really moves me when you confront me directly. But as for me," he said seriously, releasing a beam of spiritual energy for emphasis. "What I hate the most is being threatened." After finishing his words, Fong Lang Tiao unleashed his sword chi to attack. The other person quickly dodged all of his sword chi. He formed a seal and chanted, "For extremes tilt, 5 mountains descend bourgeois mountain shadow, striking the ground." He then soared high, summoned a piece of music from the underworld, raised it high, and threw it down forcefully, splitting bourgeois mountain shadow in two. He declared, "At least I should endure a few injuries." Bourgeois mountain shadow suddenly shattered into pieces, as the overwhelming force beneath created a shockwave that shook the entire area. He was surprisingly psychologically shaken, exclaiming, "Damn it." Fong Lang Tiao had yet to withdraw his power, his hand still pointing upwards with a cold gaze, asking, "How do you know how to use my master's innate magical talent?" The other person casually raised his hand and replied, "Of course, I absorbed his inner Dan." An old, frail man, yet he possesses such a powerful magical talent. "But I am truly curious, where exactly is Bourgeois Mountain? And what about that place called Earth?" The words of the old man Fong Kan Yun, "Your master, were to go see Bourgeois Mountain and the Earth you mentioned." Hearing his words, Fong Lang Tiao felt perplexed. Fong Lang Tiao was all tensed up, unleashing waves of spiritual energy before suddenly appearing in front of the guy. "You bastard," he said, startled, "too fast." Fong Lang Tiao threw a powerful punch, sending the guy crashing down, then flew in to kick him, growling, "Damn it, you deserve to die, 1,000 times." Looking back into the past, Fong Kanyan flew over and called out, "Lang Tiao, the master just broke through to great ascension and is about to comprehend a new magical talent. You need to come help the master decide on a name." Fong Lang Tiao lay on the roof with a blade of grass in his mouth, looking at him with 3 parts helplessness and 7 parts the same, saying, "Ah, this old man, you're my master but you keep looking for me to teach you. It's quite ridiculous. Besides, does naming have anything to do with the strength of the magical talent?" Fong Lang sighed and explained, "That's wrong. You are a heavenly Tao celestial body, your comprehension is higher than the master's, so how can it be ridiculous? The name of the magical talent is extremely important, and it is also crucial in forming the magical talent." Fong Lang Tiao sighed deeply, still confused, but he didn't complain anymore. He propped his chin up seriously and asked Fong Lang, "Then how would you describe your magical talent so I can advise you?" Fong Lang slightly lifted his face and expressed his realization, "I sense a towering mountain, but the master has traveled for years and has never found a mountain that satisfies him." Fong Lang Tiao closed his eyes to contemplate. If it's a mountain, the most prestigious mountain is. He suddenly had an idea and raised his finger. The number 1 divine peak of Hong Huang, the remains of the Creator supporting heaven and earth, Bourgeois Mountain. Fong Lang asked Fong Lang Tiao in surprise. "The remains of the Creator supporting heaven and stabilizing the earth, my magical talent isn't that powerful, at most, I can only mimic its shadow." "Is Bourgeois Mountain the mountain on earth you're talking about?" Fong Lang Tiao rolled his eyes without looking directly and awkwardly said, "Let's say that's true." He thought, even though it's a myth, I really don't know if this mountain actually exists. Fong Lang gazed into the distance as if in thought. Without evil cultivators and chaotic order, everyone is united and at peace. People without cultivation can also live safely. Earth is indeed a miraculous place that makes one yearn for it. Fong Lang Tiao waved his hand dismissively. "Not necessarily, it's just much better than this world." Fong Lang expressed some hope, saying, "While alive, I really wanted to go there." Fong Lang Tiao reflected and found it very true. Your personality, having reached the great ascension stage but never having killed anyone, is indeed very suitable for that place. Fong Lang Tiao pointed in one direction and made a promise, "It's okay, wait for me to attain the supreme great Tao. When that time comes, I will cross the river of all worlds and take you with me." Fong Lang laughed heartily, "Haha, good, my dear disciple." He lowered his eyes a bit sadly, "But my dear disciple, if you were weak, I wouldn't say anything, but in the future, you will definitely be a supreme expert. Remember this, don't let your killing intent become too heavy, start with yourself. For those who are arrogant, I will be gentle, I will respond to arrogance with soft words. For those who bully, I will show respect, I will use respect to touch their hearts." Fong Lang Tiao used one hand to perform a master's kiss technique while the other hand gripped the neck of the man. "Master, your words do not fit this world." The man in black tightened his grip around Fong Lang Tiao's neck, thinking, hooked him. Langiao covered one eye and said, "You are not Fong Lang Tiao, who are you really?" The man in black held his eyeball and said, "Very good, now it belongs to me." Even Fong Lang said, "To exchange, I willingly undergo transformation here and simultaneously stop the inner Dan." The man in black held the eyeball in front of Fong Lang Tiao and declared, "Heavenly Spirit Flower Field, the cycle of all opposites." Fong Lang Tiao's eyes flickered with spiritual energy and then he was stunned. The black-clad figure soared high, the mask shattered to reveal a face resembling Fong Lang Tiao. "I underestimated this guy, but fortunately, there's the heavenly spirit flower field of Langiao." The physical body of Fong Lang Tiao in his previous life was quite sturdy, otherwise, the divine soul would have been destroyed by now. But losing a flower spirit is truly regrettable, he thought, sweating. Now that the soul extraction technique has backfired, I need to. Before he could finish his thought, Fong Lang Tiao had already swept past, delivering a powerful blow. One of his arms was torn apart without a sound, causing him to panic and ask, "What is this?" Wasn't his soul temporarily sealed by the flower spirit? Could it be that there is still an energy soul within him? Fong Lang Tiao screamed in pain, "Energy?" His eyes once again gleamed terrifyingly, making the black-clad figure question in fear, is it that guy in the middle layer? As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Lang Tiao charged in and ripped his body apart. The black-clad figure restored his body but, with a somewhat chaotic mind, thought, but fortunately, it's just a consciousness body, he can't use magical talent or rules. But time. Suddenly, a voice rang out behind him, it seems you have failed. He paused for a moment before turning to reply, it was my oversight. I didn't expect that the beast in the middle layer had left a protective layer within his body. I truly apologize, Palace Master. The girl referred to as Palace Master rested her chin on her hand, bored, it is indeed a bit troublesome. If there has been a disturbance, then you may leave. Nodded in agreement, and the spatial rift opened before slowly closing. The Palace Master looked down at Fong Lang Tiao, thinking to herself, it seems I have to plan for the long term. A character of this caliber turning into this form is quite interesting, isn't it? Fong Lang Tiao below was like a wild beast in thirst, continuously sneering and saying, energy, little, not enough. Suddenly, Fong Lang Tiao sensed something and looked towards the Palace Master, making her confused. Then, he raised his face, gathering power like a lightning bolt, and said, energy, much, chase after. After saying that, he threw a powerful punch upwards. The Palace Master was still bewildered, what is he doing? Punching the air. Fong Lang Tiao continued to strike harder. The sound echoed, causing Lang Tian and the others to turn their heads to look. The booming noise continued to emerge before Fong Lang Tiao's 1,000-pound punch. The Palace Master, with a serious expression, wanted to see what was happening. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound beside her. Fong Lang Tiao concentrated his power into this punch and swung it, breaking the space between him and the Palace Master. She cast a surprised glance at him, thinking, can one really break the path of spatial movement just with physical strength? And can they find me so accurately? The Dharma body angrily said, you insolent one. Do you dare? A strike from him was evaded by Fong Lang Tiao. He waved his hand, dealt with that Dharma body, and flew to the Palace Master, saying, energy. She half closed her eyes, sighed, and then pointed down as if giving an order, leave this place. Fong Lang Tiao was forced down by the oppressive power, but still muttered, energy. He fell back into the spatial hole and landed with a long, sliding thud. After stabilizing his body, Fong Lang Tiao still growled, energy, eat, energy. The power within him erupted fiercely and violently once more. Then, he exhaled, regained his consciousness, and said, so it was all your doing. He raised his hand to condense heavenly thunder, lamenting, so I truly wronged that thunderballed old man. I'm annoyed with the one who picked up my previous life's body. He condensed the heavenly thunder into a boundary-breaking spear, then shot it upwards, shouting, go for me. His face was cold, snorting disdainfully. Had just returned, paying her respects and calling out, Palace Master. He looked at the Dharma body and asked, what has happened here? The Dharma body struggled to call out, Palace Master, save me. But she ruthlessly trampled him underfoot, soul-snatching. She glanced at calculating, in less than 1,000 years, the hierarchy war will come, we cannot use power on Fong Lang Tiao. She held her forehead and sighed, such a hassle. When the Palace Master looked up ahead, she saw a crack slowly spreading. Before she could blink, the boundary-breaking spear pierced through space and lunged forward. The Palace Master tilted her head slightly and snorted coldly, off target. She suddenly paused and looked at The boundary-breaking spear had accurately pierced through The Palace Master then realized, the target isn't me, what is this? She glared at Fong Lang Tiao with annoyance, it's a trap. Fong Lang Tiao formed a seal and unleashed spiritual energy, saying, humans can't endure even a little loss. After saying this, he controlled the boundary-breaking spear to pierce through causing him to scream in pain. The Palace Master, furious, had her eyes flash with spiritual energy, gritting her teeth, you dare. Cried out for a while, then turned into a black lump, saying, "Palace Master, don't waste your energy." The Palace Master closed her eyes, and the spiritual energy in her hand dissipated. Ying's energy also pierced through space and gradually vanished. The Palace Master gritted her teeth and thought, "Fong Lang Tiao, just wait for me." Fong Lang Tiao seized Ying by the hand and arrogantly said, "It seems your Palace Master cannot protect you anymore." Ying's face turned pale as he looked at him, thinking, soul captivating across many spaces, has his realm nearly reached the divine realm? I'm doomed. Fong Lang Tiao was not in a hurry to deal with him but asked for more clues. "Let me think calmly for a moment, you are still useful to me. Surely you know the clues about the location of my remaining inner Dan, right?" Ying pouted and evaded, I don't know." Fong Lang Tiao formed a seal and activated the soul captivator art, "Whether you know or not. It cannot be according to your wishes." Ying widened his eyes in realization, "This is the soul captivator art, you want to turn me into a pill slave?" The soul captivator art transforms enemies into essence pills, extracting their divine soul and sealing it within the pill, turning them into a pill slave. The effect of consuming this pill allows one to awaken the divine soul within it at any time, commanding them to appear in battle or siphoning their magical power and talent for use. Ying increasingly felt constricted and could not believe, this makes no sense at all. With the strength of my soul, why am I not resisting at all? Fong Lang Tiao emotionlessly explained, "Why? Because the gap between your strength and mine is too great." The pill was finally completed. Fong Lang Tiao immediately refined it, tightly gripping his hand to absorb it. "Another breakthrough, indeed you are the inner Dan," he called out, turning his head. "Hey, come here." In thought and anger, I have truly become his pill slave. Fong Lang Tiao half closed his eyes and called, "Come here. Tell me where the remaining inner Dan is." Ying was drenched in sweat, cursing inwardly, "Damn it, I can't lie to him. Otherwise, my divine soul will dissipate." Suddenly, he came up with a plan, "If it's there, perhaps I can find a way to keep him there forever." He glanced at Fong Lang Tiao with a mischievous smile and said, "The city of 10,000 laws extinguished, eternally neutral. Fandao Sect." Fong Lang Tiao frowned and asked, "Fandao Sect?" Ying squinted provocatively, "What? Are you scared? A city where anyone who enters becomes immortal, unable to use magical talent, rules, or spells, and turns their cultivation into currency for transactions. Even we cannot retrieve it, it truly is a nightmare for cultivators, so fear is understandable." Fong Lang Tiao stroked his chin thoughtfully, "There. That is indeed a bit tricky. While alive, my master imposed a ban, no matter how high my cultivation is, I am not allowed to go there." "But..." Ying stared at him, waiting for an answer. "When the time comes, without the pressure of cultivation, I must take over his body. That's all there is to it." Fong Lang Tiao said emotionlessly, stepping forward. "I will definitely go to Fandao Sect. But before that..." He controlled his spiritual energy, coldly glancing at Ying, "I will leave a trace of your soul for you, not so you can ramble on." Ying, frightened, hurriedly said, I was wrong, I'm about to die, I'm about to die." Fong Lang Tiao relaxed, not wanting to take his life. He reminded, "When you talk to me, you'd better be a bit more humble." Someone questioned, "Lian Guang, you have poured all your efforts into plotting for thousands and tens of thousands of years, and now you find yourself at a disadvantage. Now you are in such a passive position. The battle of the tears is not one you can participate in. His karma, his fate, the heavenly Tao has already been determined. Let go early, while you still haven't suffered too much loss." Lian Guang crossed her arms, speaking calmly, "I can't turn back anymore." Her expression darkened as she decided, even if it means fighting to the end in the battle of the tears, I must achieve it. Li Hao Tian sat in a daze on the ground, thinking, before, everything was clearly going according to plan, but now it has failed at the last moment. He was sweating, thinking, is it bad luck or some predetermined constraint? When did the variable appear? Although I have failed, it cannot be unclear and ambiguous. Behind him, a man landed and called out, "Second young master." The scar-faced man bowed his head and said, "As per our agreement, the plan has failed, it's time for you to return home." The mark on Li Hao Tian's forehead glowed. He tightly shut his eyes and exhaled. Well then, since it has come to this, there's no need to force it anymore. His body began to glow as he slowly stood up. You really won't take action unless your life is in danger. The scar-faced man, with a vacant expression, said, "The city lord has given orders, we cannot disobey. This is even more beneficial for your future breakthroughs. Moreover, the second young master still has many unused magic weapons, you won't die." Li Hao Tian helplessly replied, "This guy is really something." He removed the circlet from his head, styled his hair back, looking very stubborn, and said, "Let's go. Back home." The scar-faced man responded, "Yes, young master." Outside Fandao Sect, in Wudao town, a wanderer saw Li Xiaofan passing by and called out, "Hey, young man, I see your physique is suitable for martial arts training." He extended his hand in proposal, "I can teach you invincible magical talent, fist strikes immortal upper world. Kick smashes immortal palace great elder. The tuition fee is not high, just 30 or 40 blue star money will do. What do you think?" Li Xiaofan scratched his face and replied, "I don't have blue star money, and my talent isn't that great either." He opened the bag he was carrying on his shoulder, looked inside and said, "But I have a little food, if you don't mind, you can take it. As for magical talent, I probably can't learn that." The wanderer clicked his tongue and said, "That's fine." On the second floor, a girl in a red dress shouted loudly, "Hey, Lu beggar, are you here to swindle again? Get lost." He turned around to look at her and retorted, "What kind of language is that? Lu beggar? I am the supreme immortal Lu Qingshan, and furthermore." The girl rested her chin on her hand, irritatedly dismissing him, "And you're the brother of City Lord Fandao Sect. You've said that so many times already. If you really are the brother of the City Lord, then return the candies you tricked me out of before." Lu Qingshan turned away disdainfully, "That's because your talent is insufficient, why blame me?" The girl pointed down at Li Xiaofan and asked, "Hey, someone from another region, just ignore him, this guy is a fraud. After you exchange your blue star money, don't brag about it, or you might get robbed by others." Li Xiaofan replied, "Thank you for the reminder." Fong Lang Tiao urged from behind, "Hey, Xiaofan, hurry up and follow me, let's go spend some money." Li Xiaofan turned and replied, "Yes." Lu Qingshan looked at the bag on his waist with shining eyes, so much aura of blue star money. He moved closer to Fong Lang Tiao to strike up a conversation, "Brother, you look quite handsome, and your physique is suitable for martial arts training. I can teach you unbeatable magical talent, how to fight in the immortal upper world, and kick your way into the great elder immortal palace." Fong Lang Tiao silently observed him, "The aura of divine talent is impressive, and your realm is not low, even in my time, such talent was quite rare." Lu Qingshan raised his finger to set a price, "For blue star coins, and I will impart my unique secret technique to you." The girl in the red dress shouted again, "Hey, don't trust him, he's a fraud." Lu Qingshan turned his head, unable to hold back his anger, "Hey, you little girl, why do you always ruin my good deals?" Frustrated, he turned back to Fong Lang Tiao, "The road to Fandao Sect is paved by great magical talents, so you can't fly or use cultivation. It's quite inconvenient. You two might not need a unique skill, but at least you're lacking a guide, right?" Ignoring his words, Fong Lang Tiao left immediately. Lu Qingshan behind raised his hand and hurried to catch up, "Hey, wait for me. 10 blue star dollars will do, $5, $5 is fine too." Li Xiaofan looked at Fong Lang Tiao hesitantly, Fong master, why did you only bring me this time?" Fong Lang Tiao looked down at him and said, "Because you are too weak, so I brought you here to seek opportunities." Li Xiaofan questioned again, "Shouldn't opportunities be given to those stronger than me?" Wouldn't giving them to me be a waste? Fong Lang Tiao explained with a hint of a smile, the opportunities of others in the sect are not in Fandao sect, and moreover, the sect needs someone to oversee things. You don't need to feel too pressured because this is something I should do. Lu Qingshan still tried to negotiate from behind, 2 blue star dollars. Li Xiaofan ahead replied, yes, yes. Lu Qingshan held up 2 fingers in assurance, as long as it's 2 blue star dollars, I will be your guide, and I will definitely ensure your safety. How does that sound? Fong Lang Tiao coldly said, fine, but the remaining dollar will be paid after we enter the city. Lu Qingshan hesitated a bit, about that, but Fong Lang Tiao added, includes meals and accommodation. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingshan quickly agreed. Ing flew out and looked at Fong Lang Tiao, evaluating, exchanging 2 blue star dollars for a guide is too much of a loss. He kindly reminded, it's just a slightly better physical quality, don't wait until you're in the city to run out of blue star money. Fong Lang Tiao calmly spoke, this person's realm as a body cultivator in the past must have been quite extraordinary, perhaps he could have obtained a seed of opportunities from him. Ing looked at Lu Qingshan and asked, what about him? Then she glanced at Fong Lang Tiao in surprise, in a place that blocks spells, Fong Lang Tiao can still discern the opponent's past realm. He looked back at Lu Qingshan and continued, but upon closer inspection, this person seems familiar, is it an illusion? Lu Qingshan flicked a blue star coin in his hand and said, I tell you this, getting into the Fandao sect is not easy. He looked at the bright blue star coin in his hand and explained, first, you need blue star money to pay for staying in the city. 1 coin per day. Of course, you can also pay 28 coins at once for a monthly card, which saves you 2 coins. Daoist friend, your blue star money is not only abundant but also of very high purity, it seems you've spent quite a bit of cultivation, haven't you? Fong Lang Tiao replied succinctly, it's acceptable. Lu Qingshan, calm and composed, maintained his previous judgment. It seems that the Daoist friend has a very profound cultivation. Don't just look at my appearance now, I was once a very capable person. He raised his finger boastfully. Even a true immortal in the heavens, I could defeat with just 1 punch. Ing squinted, thinking to himself. He really knows how to boast. Li Xiaofan looked at Lu Qingshan in confusion. A true immortal is that strong? Can you really defeat one with just a punch? Lu Qingshan scratched his face, sighed, and said. 1 punch might not be enough, it would take 2 or 3 punches. He suddenly looked at Li Xiaofan and asked. Wait a minute, little friend, have you ever encountered a true immortal? Li Xiaofan raised his hand and quickly replied. No, I haven't. Lu Qingshan looked at the blue star ring on his hand, as if pondering something, then said. That's true. Whether in the immortal world or the immortal palace, those guys are quite perverse. A newcomer like you, just stepping into cultivating immortals, would probably turn to dust at just 1 glance from them. After saying this, he stepped into a small inn and said. The road to Fandao sect is still very far, let's rest here for a while. Inside this inn, a man in black was speaking to a barrier placed on the table. So, you know the identity of that person? Lu Qing casually said, of course, I removed the seal you implanted in him, which has saved your life. Dragon Sovereign Li coldly scoffed, who knows what step this is in your scheme. Lu Qing sighed in exasperation, good intentions are indeed seen as malicious purposes. Dragon Sovereign Li looked at him with disdain and said, once we reach Fandao sect, I will definitely find a way to kill you. Lu Qing shot him a sidelong glance and mockingly replied, all right, I eagerly await that. The waiter raised his hand to indicate a direction, please, gentlemen, this way. The waiter paused in surprise when he saw Lu Qingshan, oh, isn't this Lu beggar? How did you manage to earn money for wine again? Where did you spend it? Lu Qingshan pointed his thumb behind him, where Fong Lang Tiao was shouting, hey! Wang pockmarked, this time it's different, there's a boss here, a living god of fortune. He cheerfully ordered 2 rooms, find a nice place to sit, with a good view, and lead the way quickly. Wang pockmarked eagerly led them upstairs. Right away, please follow me to the upper floor. A charming outdoor spot is waiting for you. On the side of Dragon Sovereign Li, a spirit beast from the Dragon clan sighed in frustration. In the end, I still have to use that inner Dan of power. Dragon Sovereign Li called out, Senior, and asked, are you awake now? The spirit beast's Dragon clan, with a serious tone, said. Listen, you must leave immediately. Fong Lang Tiao has arrived. Dragon Sovereign Li, upon hearing that name, cheerfully explained. Senior Fong, it's fine, I know him, he probably won't make things difficult. The spirit beast's Dragon clan shouted excitedly. Nonsense. Not to mention that you stole this from the immortal world for personal reasons. Fong Lang Tiao has some terrifying Taoist fruits wrapped around him, tightly linked to the laws of heaven and earth. Therefore, he can disregard heavenly rules. He emphasized each sentence. Your fate, if entangled in his karma, I fear you will die. Dragon Sovereign Li broke out in a cold sweat. Is that so? He glanced at the door as it was opened. When the pockmarked Wang opened the door, he was wide-eyed to find no one there. Where is everyone? He paid no more attention and raised his hand to invite Fong Lang Tiao's group. Please come this way, the food will be served shortly, just wait a moment. Lu Qingshan sat down on a chair, crossed his legs, and casually waved his hand. Hurry up, hurry up. The pockmarked Wang replied promptly. Yes. Fong Lang Tiao showed no emotion, staring intently at his hand and noticing. After arriving in the town, how was our cultivation suppressed by external forces? Was it a formation? Or something else? At this moment, Lu Qingshan spoke up, if the 2 of you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I will definitely answer each one of them. Fong Lang Tiao sat up straight and asked, how far is this place from the Fandao sect? Lu Qingshan did not answer immediately but countered with a question, may I ask which sect you 2 belong to? Li Xiaofan introduced, we are from the Langiao sect. He looked over at Fong Lang Tiao and added, this is our master Fong Lang Tiao. Lu Qingshan also looked over and asked Fong Lang Tiao, you are the one who underwent the thunder tribulation and was struck for 100,000 years, right? I didn't expect you to still be alive. Impressive, very impressive. Fong Lang Tiao smiled modestly and said, it's nothing much. After a moment, he seriously asked him, may I know which sect Lu brother belongs to, and how did you fall to such a state? Lu Qingshan leaned back in his chair, looked up at the sky, and shared, as for me, I am a casual cultivator, and I won't hide it from you. I once had a cultivation that reached the heavens, and I was quite a prominent figure, but unfortunately, all my cultivation has been left at the Fandao sect. Fortunately, I am a body cultivator, with my spirit contained within my body, otherwise, I would have died long ago. Wang pockmarked then brought the food to the table, saying, the dish the guest ordered is here. Lu Qingshan looked at him and exclaimed excitedly, eyeing the food on the table with increasing appetite, wow, today I, old Lu, am really in for a treat. Fong Lang Tiao stood up and said, you 2 eat first, I need to go to the restroom. Li Xiaofan replied with a nod. Half an hour passed, and when Li Xiaofan didn't see him return, he became a bit worried and stuttered, I will go check on him. Lu Qingshan turned his head and instructed, go quickly and come back fast, otherwise, I will eat everything. Li Xiaofan went downstairs. He scanned the area looking for Fong Lang Tiao, but unexpectedly bumped into someone coming the other way and grimaced, so heavy. Li Xiaofan fell to the ground. The white-clad disciple glared at him, do you dare to bump into me? Li Xiaofan froze, realizing, this is from the Yunhi sect in the upper 3 sects. He spoke up, I am sorry. The disciple's face grew even darker, disdainful, a bug just refining qi, seeking your own death. The calm and graceful girl behind him called out, "Junior brother, don't cause trouble, the elder is still waiting for us." The junior brother, hearing this, did nothing further but still looked at Li Xiaofan with disdain and said, "The mortal realm is truly disgusting. Well then, let's consider it a bug bumping into someone." He emphasized and shouted loudly, "Get lost." At that moment, Fong Lang Tiao appeared beside him, without any unnecessary movements, using lightning to spin him around like a top before he crashed hard to the ground. Li Xiaofan joyfully called out, "Master." The girl from the Yunhi sect anxiously asked, "Junior brother, are you okay?" The junior brother, covered in injuries, stood up, hissing with every word, "You bastard." He pointed at Fong Lang Tiao, who was walking away, and shouted, "Hey, stop right there." But Fong Lang Tiao remained silent and continued walking, causing him to boil with rage and curse. "Damn it, I'm talking to you." The girl from the Yunhi sect maintained a neutral expression and advised, "Junior brother, don't be unreasonable." She thought, "Isn't this supposed to be all mortals? The body movement and cultivation of this person clearly aren't low." This junior brother, now furious to the point of madness, ignored her advice and drew his sword, unleashing spiritual energy. "I joined the sect, you're not here to preach to me." He rushed forward, delivering a powerful strike to Fong Lang Tiao's back. "If we're talking about principles, then what the hell am I cultivating immortals for?" Unexpectedly, after that roar, what he saw was not Fong Lang Tiao's head, but the broken sword that had fallen, leaving him dumbfounded. Fong Lang Tiao coldly turned to look at him and casually asked, "So you've been talking to me all this time?" The junior brother was already very frightened, his voice dropping by half as he looked at him. Do you know who I am? And yet you still look down on me?" Fong Lang Tiao's eyes emitted a ray of spiritual energy as he asked in a flat tone, "Who are you? If you weren't speaking human language, I would have thought you were just a stray dog on the street."